Are we all good to speak or we're good to go? Okay. Welcome in, everybody. We apologize. We've been having some tech issues, but we are back at the start of game one as we will be bringing it back to you from the top. Again, in the draft, we have for the side of Lobster Spicy, Cassante, Zach, Yasuo, Varus, and Nautilus. Versus for the side of Cyclone Gaming, Orn, Kane, Karma, Smolder, and Rel. Potato, if there is a lane you're looking at to be really impactful, where someone can get a lead or this person cannot fall behind, what's your kind of highlight lane for this laning phase?
Well, the most important lane for both of the teams is bot lane, because top lane is just a brawler tank matchup where they're both farming grass stacks. And mid lane is always going to be dominated by Karma, because Yazoo can't really play the lane if played properly. And bot lane should be winning slightly for, or not slightly, they should be heavily winning for the blue team. Because first of all, they're running double combat summoners, and they're against Smolder with a Varus and Nautilus. But to be prepared, the only thing that is not allowed to happen is the first one that uses the spell in bot lane on Rel or Nautilus with the hook in is losing the trade actually.
Really? Huh.
Yes, because
Interesting.
Nautilus can cancel the crash down from Rel, and if Nautilus hooks in when Rel still has all the spells up, because none of them has Aftershock, he will be traded down very, very easily.
Okay, as we see some trading in the top side and in the bot side. Also, take a look at the jungle. And the invade came in from the side of Cyclone Gaming. But now the counter invade, and they'll trade the top side for the bot side. But the thing is, Lazacone is a little bit behind on this clear, as suddenly Fido's going to be here. Now, Fronta is backing, so not much should come from it, as Mario Fi going to walk up and make sure that his laner gets out of there. But now Yasuo going in to Clan, going in. He had a rough game last time. I'm especially looking at him to not just get picked off. Last time he played, there were a lot of moments where he got just constantly and brutally picked off. And so I'm going to look for that to not happen, but now he may be picked off yet again.
Flash.
He's gone in too far. The flash is not enough, as now kill is there, and kill should secure this kill, and that is first blood over to the side of Cyclone Gaming.
Coming back with the invade. The problem is, I think Kane made a big blunder by not blocking the top side and going back for his bot lane clear, because Zag and Yazoo cannot invade a Kane and a Karma early on. So
Yeah,
he
and now
should have
there's
went
going to
to the
be a
top side to
fight in the
block it.
jungle. Look at the jungle. Kane's going to get away from the Nautilus hook, but now everyone's going to go in as Sidas are going to wait for his hook, and now Kill's going to be knocked up by Declan. If he's going to find it, and Declan forces Kill to flash over the wall with both summoner spells being burnt. Everyone will walk away A-okay, but Declan has no summoners. Kill has no summoners. The teleports are down for both top laners, and the summoner spell war, always something to keep an eye on, especially with teleports. How do teams manage their teleports and make sure that they are ready to go in for a team fight? As we see Linkazo just bullying out the clan here in that mid lane, like you highlighted. As now we see a bit more trading. As, like you mentioned, it's just a brawl on the top side. I would like to point out that Mario Fi does have a bit of a CS lead. And we also see, obviously, the CS lead in the mid lane. That's what happens when it's Enchanter versus a
Roll
melee
timer for the
unit.
jungle, for the support mid lane. That's good, because both ADCs are now just freshly into lane.
Yeah, I always like to see how players will handle the roams. As now Linkazo gonna have to flash out in the middle. Lazacone was diving in and he had to burn the flash, and now we make it a fight in the mid lane, as now it's gonna be the crashdown is going to find its way onto Declan, and Declan will fall yet again. 0 and 2 on this Yasuo, and this mid lane is just not his. He just has to watch as he has to give up ownership every single time and kill with another successful roam. Now we see in this bot side and just a bit more trading, and the supports coming back to their ADCs as they say hello yet again. Not as much going on now, but hold on, speaking, not much going on. Mario is gonna walk into the face of Fido, who has the Kane ultimate, but they're just gonna trade a little bit of health, and it's a Cassante. He'll walk out. Fido will back in the brush. Never mind, he's actually going to cancel the back and maybe look for a bit of an invade, but Lazacone is gonna be there, but he's down a level. He hasn't picked up his blue buff yet, and now the fight's gonna break out, and now here comes Mariofi. If we look over in the top side, Declan's there too.
Fight
It's
is
going to
off
be
timing
caught
for his
out.
Kane.
Going to be off timing, and he may just be trapped in the pit, and he has to flash over the wall.
He should never go for an invite this time because his mid laner was backing.
Yeah, definitely an interesting choice, as now low health bars in the bot lane, something to keep an eye on. If we can flash back over to the bot lane, it looks like both are gonna go in and push them back under turret, but low health bars on both for the side of Lobster Spicy and Kill on the Rel, but they're just going to get out of there. At the CS lead, not as bad as I thought it would be in the mid lane. As we see, it's a 12 CS difference, but the levels are relatively the same. And it's once the levels start to distance themselves that it's going to get really bad for Declan on the Yasuo. His job is kind of just survive here. We remember that Annie game where he just got bullied all game long and he was just free pick after free pick. And I hate to be harsh on him, but there were some moments that lost his team that game and that series there because he just wasn't careful enough. So I'm going to look to him to be careful, as now we're going to see as everyone's coming in, and Declan's overstepped again. But Lazacone's going to be here to back up his mid laners. Everyone's going to be going in. Fido going to be going in, but now Kill just trying to get his teammates out of there, as now here comes Sidaster looking to get his mid laner out of there, but it's not going to be enough. And the Yasuo ult crashes down, and he's going to find a kill, and the Zac will come in with the dive, but now Fido has already found a kill onto Declan. He's got to get out of there, but Requiem comes in and is going to end him. It'll walk away as a 2-for-1 for the side of Lobster Spicy.
Going for the Brambles Vest on top lane is a very big blunder in my opinion. Because he's not shredding any health regeneration on the enemy team basically for everyone besides Zag. But that healing comes later. So for now, he should have went Warden's Mail, which would be more efficient.
And now we actually see the Ornhorn going to be called in, as they're going to actually look on to Mariofi. He's going to have to flash. He still got stunned up by the Ornhorn, but Kill couldn't find him. And now Lazacone going in, but hold on, they don't know that if Fido's here. And now
they have Red Kane.
4 members here. Red Kane, an interesting pick here, but they're just going to hand over the grubs. They're saying it's 4 members. It's not worth it. The control board will let them know that there's 4 members here, and it's the grubs over to the side of Lobster Spicy. As now Declan just barely getting back to his tower. If you are the side of Lobster Spicy Potato, what do you have to do to make sure that Declan is staying safe in the mid lane?
It's not that difficult actually to be a little bit safe. He can always play with the minions of the enemy team with his E, so he can get out of the karma tether. That would be very good. And Nautilus can always provide him a lot of help with his hooks.
Yeah,
So it's not that difficult for him to stay alive. It's more of the question, how can they push ahead to get a lead? Because right now they're a little bit behind. It's not that much, but the problem is it's as time is ticking, they're falling further and further behind because of the team comp.
yeah, as now we're gonna see everyone going in, and hello, Linkazo, but now he's actually gonna be gotten out of there by the crash down. And wow, the fact that he walked away from a three-man dive is insane. Is now over in the top side. Ceuta is gonna go all out, but Fronta has to burn the flash, and he will just barely get back under the safety as his tower, as this team fight may be about to break out in the bot lane, and now Kill is gonna be caught out. If we can flash over to the bot side real quick, is that solo kill on the top side from Mario F. And Fido, he's in a little too deep. Where are you going? Mom comes down to save him, but he's not going to be able to save him. And now Lazacone is going to carry him out of there on the ultimate, but everyone's going in. But now the team fight's so separated, and Requiem's left alone. Requiem's left alone, and he's just going to be pressed down. The crash down Magnus Storm is massive, and everyone will fall in the bot lane for Lobster Spicy. Everyone falls, and the reward is the Infernal Drake for the side of Cyclone Gaming.
That initial engage was actually not that bad, but after Varus losing his ultimate, they should not look for the re-engage.
And I highlighted it in the pregame, the fact that Lobster Spicy in their last series, where they faltered was when they weren't playing the team fights like a team, and you saw everyone scatter there. They were running for the hills. It looks like a bunch of teenagers getting pulled up on by the cops. Everyone was running in different directions, and everyone was left alone. And by the time you came together and said, we'll save each other, Kill said, no, I've got the crash down and you're all going to drop. And for the side of Lobster Spicy, you have to be careful about these team fights. Their comp wants to fight together, but if you're not fighting together, it's going to look bad for you.
I think that lane swap of them is actually not a bad idea here. I don't know. I don't think they did it very intentionally, but it was a little bit too slow. But if they get a very clean lane swap here, they could be freezing with Varus on top line. And gains some of the XP loss there.
Yeah, they're gonna look to get it back, and Fronta gonna be bullied by this Varus, as we see, and that in the mid lane now, as I pointed out, Declan is down a level, and he's just getting chunked out, and he's going to keep struggling. He has to back here and part ways with his minion wave, as now, hold on, the Ornhorn's gonna be called. It's gonna get the dash, and it's gonna slam into Sidaster, and Sidaster, he's gonna be locked up, he's gonna be knocked up, and he's gonna be rocked. As speaking of rocked, now the chains, and now Declan flashes out of there and just barely survives on a sliver of HP. And now a roam into the jungle. If you are the side of Cyclone Gaming, you own the top side. Look at all the vision. I love to highlight the vision for each team, as we see such strong vision in the enemy jungle for Cyclone. And their reward will be this Rift Herald. And now they're going to see that there is a control ward there. But they need to be careful and not walk up into this, because if you walk up too far, it's going to be dangerous. The Ornhorn is down. He still has a little over 55% of the timer left, but now that he's got that Sun Aegis, he's just stacking health, and it's going to be so much harder to kill Fronta. And when I'm looking at the side of Lobster Spicy, who's gonna kill him? Your Varus sure can be free firing into the tank, but then you're not going to get the damage onto the more important targets. As now Requiem's going to be knocked up, and now Fido's here. Requiem going to have to flash out of there as now Sidaster's in trouble. He hasn't popped the ultimate yet, but he's going to look to use the hook to get out of there. But now Kill's here. Crash down Magistorm with the flash, and there goes Requiem. Bye-bye. We'll see you next time. As now in the mid lane, Linkazu's going to be caught out, and the Zac ultimate comes down, and he's just going to put him in the bounce house. And now Sidaster in a little bit of trouble under the turret. They're going to look to burst down the turret, and you will be left with nothing. Goodbye to your house. You're left homeless. Go back to the homeless shelter in your fountain. 4-10 on the kills, a 3,000 gold lead, and Cyclone Gaming are dominating the Rift.
Well, even if the time goes on longer, there is not very much that they are have an easy time to recover, because they're a full AD team. It's very difficult to kill either Kayn or Ornn or Rel with the Karma shields.
Definitely going to be much tougher. And keep in mind, Palomito sitting on the smolder. We don't know how many stacks and he is at right now, but 146 stacks through 17 minutes, a good pace for Palomito. And just keep in mind, he's just going to keep freely scaling as time goes on in this game. So already you're going to struggle to come back for the side of Lobstar Spicy, and it's just going to get worse. You're just going to start bleeding out. And speaking of bleeding out, Fido's going to go in with kill onto the Zac and the Nautilus, and it doesn't matter that what you do. Mom comes down, teleports are coming in as now Requiem's going to be on the back half of this fight. The crash down Magistorm is going to find onto two of them, and everyone's going to be dropping. But now Sidaster's dead. Sidaster's already dead, and now Declare's dead, and Requiem's next to join him. You're going to join your entire team. Everyone's going to drop. No one's going to live to tell of what just happened. Go back to your fountain. Try again. You cannot figure it out against us. We are the #1 team in the league, and we're here to play.
Well, this is basically the worst case scenario that could have ever happened to them in a fight. Going 5-0 against the scaling team comp.
And as you look at the gold lead, it's 7,000. It's just getting worse and worse for the side of Lobstar Spicy, and there is not a great angle back into this game. Look at all the vision everywhere. You're getting spotted out in your own jungle. It's not safe for Lazakone to walk there. And what I'm going to look at is, if there's a key back into this game, they have to find picks. You have to find Palomito in this mid lane. You have great ways to dive onto champions. And speaking of diving onto champions, now Declan's going to go into Linkazo, but both are just going to drop half their health bars, and they're going to walk away and just go back to farming. But if there's a key for me to getting back in this game, you have to find the carries. Mariofi has to go all out, pull someone over the wall into the team. And Declan and Lazakone, you also need to find these lockdowns. But what you can't do is go into a bunch of these 5v5 team fights. You are not winning the team fights. And so that is not going to be your key to getting back into this game. I need to see a bit more activity from Lazakone. You're losing. You need to find a way to find some picks onto people. As now this may be a pick opportunity, as Mariofi going to go in onto Franza. And now here comes Lazakone. And now he's going to actually go into the Rift Herald to try to get out, but he runs into his own wall. He flashes over the wall, but it doesn't matter. Requiem and Sidaster are here, and he's going to be pulled back. Where are you going, big guy?
But it's fine because they're getting the Atacon.
Yeah, Atacon on the other side of the map, and they overlooked it. They overlooked sending everyone into the top lane. Declan may have a bit of a clue, but no, it doesn't look like he knows. No one knows what's going on this map. Kill looking to go on to Declan now, as now Linkazo's here too, as the Windwall's gonna come out, and Did he DC? He might have DC'd for a second, but don't walk up there. Back up! Back up! What are you doing, Declan? Where are you going? You are just walking into death. You know they're on that Otacon. Declan oversteps again, and he's 0-6, and has been the story of this game for Lobster Spicy.
So let me just take a look at the atomization. When we were checking out what reduction the Bramble West has done so far for the Orn, it's very low for the price he had to pay for it. So it's not very beneficial. And I really enjoy that the Karma has built Unending Despair, because she knows that they are only playing against full 80 champions.
Yeah, and now we're just going to see Sidaster caught out yet again. Requiem caught out too. My screen had frozen for a second, so I didn't get to fully see what happened. But you're seeing the aftermath of it as now Lozicone wants to go in, and the Yasuo ultimate's on to 3, and now the Ornor's gonna be called.
Don't have damage.
Trying to get out of there, but they
don't have
enough damage. They're just dead. Everyone's dead yet again. You just can't do anything. You can't kill this Kayn. You can't kill this Ornn, and you can't even kill a Smolder. This might be the end of the game here, as they're gonna look to walk it down mid lane. They tried a last-ditch effort to go all in, and now this top side of the rift should be up in time to push them back, but it'll be an inhibitor over, as now the hook's gonna land onto one. But Requiem, hello and goodbye. Requiem killed yet again, and now Cyclone Gaming are going to back off. They know to play it safe. They know they have the advantage. It's a 10,000 gold lead, and this game might as well be done and dusted.
So one thing I have to criticize on the play they did is that they took the inhibitor. There is no need to take the inhibitor besides you giving the enemy team gold, because you have the autonomy. You are up 10,000 gold. The Baron is yours already. There is no chance to fight back on the Baron fight for the blue team against Karma, Ornn, and Kayn, and they're all so fat, and Smolder. So you just give them free gold and deny yourself minion waves till the Baron is spawning.
Yeah, definitely always something to think about, especially in the lower levels of League of Legends, is where and now we see a little bit of Kill just trying to take it away, but another Drake's gonna go over, and now suddenly everyone's here, and Mom's gonna come down, and now they're just gonna be caught out. Declan, you gotta be careful. Do not step forward. There's a whole team waiting for you, but now on the backside, Mariofi's gonna find it onto 3 of them, but his team's not here. Lozico's gonna dive in to try to support his teammate as Nautilus is down, but it may not be enough. But suddenly they're so separated on the team fight. Everyone's dropping low. Lozico gonna dive in. He's gonna find the dive onto 3, and now everyone might be dropping from this fight. Linkazo cannot get away. It'll be a 3-for-3 unless Fido has something to say about this. But he's walking into 2 members. You might have stepped up a little bit too far, as now he's going to be pulled back by the Q3. And now
but he's healing
onto a kill. And the healing's way too much. Fido, a 1 against 2. And he likes those odds. Everyone drops yet again, and the gold lead is back up high.
It was incredible that Cassandra was managing to get so much in this team fight. It was almost an absolute dream scenario that the blue team got there, and it still will not, unfortunately, matter.
It will not matter much when the gold lead is 9,000. It would take a colossal throw at the Baron in order to turn this around for the side of Lobster Spicy. They're just going to have to look forward to game 2. They're going to try to do whatever you can, but look at the wards. You can't even walk in your own jungle. You're opening your front door with the house keys, and there's booby traps everywhere. It's your own house. and you're just getting constantly bullied out of it. And now the Baron is going to be started up, but look at the clan. The clan's on the bot side. He's got to get here, as now they're starting to suspect that something is up. Daster is going to check this, and so is Mariofi. And now they're realizing, but the Baron may just be down.
They can't
What
enter.
are you doing? They're backing up. They can't enter. And that might have been your final chance to get back into this game if you could get a Baron steal, but they elect not to go for it. It's a 10,000 gold lead. Do you really expect to be able to survive? And speaking of being able to survive, now Lazacone is going to have to do exactly that as he jumps over the wall, and he's going to get away to safety. Fido not opting to follow up there, but now they're just going to push down the tier 3 turrets. The top side is next on the chopping block. Fronta leading the charge on the bot side to get that tier 2.
They don't
And
have good wave clear as well, so the siege is slowly but surely pushing forward.
Yeah, they don't have a good way to get this done. They're going to try to push them back as much as they can, but look at the middle. The empowered siege minions are charging down the mid lane. They're not empowered yet, actually, excuse me. But now that they went over distracted by it, the next empowered wave in the top side is going to crash. Now Mariofi has to go to the bottom side to stop Fronta's push, as now the Nautilus hook is going to land, but now he's maybe caught out of position as he's on the wrong side of history. The Yasuo
The miracle engage.
Everyone's going in. They're looking for anything but Ferris, that was definitely not even focusing on him. The Kano's going to come down onto the Zac, but the Smolder's still alive in the back line. FJ's going to be free firing.
But where is the damage?
Free fires from the back line. There's nothing you can do. Fire rains down from the heavens, and that will be a 4-for-1 as over on the bot side. The Q3 is going to come in, but a flash away from
Minions.
Fronta. The minions may actually get a kill. He's just going to watch. And now Mariofi has to go back, but the game's already over. That will be the end of this game. You must watch from the sidelines as everything falls for you. And you tried your best, but your best wasn't even close to enough. Mariofi looking to get anything back as Cyclon responds, but the Nexus is open and they will say thank you very much. They own the keys to your house, and that is that.
That was just a brutal slaughter.
Definitely. Potato, what was the main thing that went wrong for you, or in your opinion, for this game?
Well, there are multiple waves, things that went wrong. I think first of all, it started already in draft because they're so heavily forced to play on leads because they're all 80 based champions, and they can't really go for the long distance against a team comp that is very, very safe and hard to engage with the Karma on the Ornn on the side. And then they got caught a lot of times in the mid lane, which is a very, very volatile lane for them because Karma then is getting very accelerated. And she's stomping through the whole game after that.
Definitely a rough game for Lobster Spicy. Reminder, they do not want to lose this series because their fate for playoffs will pretty much be out of their hands. Cyclone Gaming already locked in. But now, guys, we will go to a short break before coming back for game number 2. Welcome back, everybody, to Zenith League. We just finished game one between Cyclone Gaming and Lobster Spicy, and it was a slaughter for the side of Cyclone Gaming. I We will be getting into game two here shortly with the draft, but if there's something I'm going to be looking at, I'm gonna look for a better draft from Lobster Spicy and better team fighting. I'm also gonna look at maybe not getting caught out as much, especially in the mid lane. I know it was a rough matchup that Yasuo into Karma, but still. I need it to be better from Lobster Spicy. Just a reminder, they are on the outside looking in for playoffs. They are going to miss the Christmas dinner. And that is not what you want for the side of Lobster Spicy. But if you want to make it to the table, you got to get through the bouncer at the door. And the bouncer at the store, or at the door, excuse me, is Cyclone Gaming. Potato, what are your keys for game two here?
Well, let's see. So the first thing is that I'm looking is that they have a way more balanced draft, and that they are not just forcing themselves onto one damage type. That's the biggest issue, and maybe balancing out each champion with each other. But let's see if they manage to do that.
Yeah, hopefully they can manage to do that as the bans will start coming in. It's Akali and Oriana first with an Mbessa. If you are either side here, is there a specific kind of team comp style you want to see come out of Lobster Spicy or Cyclone Potato?
Well, there is not very a specific type. I think the best thing to draft is if you're bouncing off your enemy team every time, and the best thing to respond on what they're picking. So it goes both ways.
Fair enough. And oh, excuse me. We'll see the rest of the bands coming in here. The Trundle band coming out again. Trundle obviously can be a very dangerous champion when you are playing very tanky units, and a personal favorite of mine to play in League of Legends. We also see the Hui and Xin and just taking out some of the range in the mid lane and taking out one of the stronger and jungle champions. As we now see Zahen get picked. And ladies and gentlemen, I was about to note that he slithered his way on through the draft. We will have our first Zahen game here in Zenith League. And just a reminder, there are mixed reviews on Zahen, but Potato, why don't you go over his base kit?
Well, I don't know much about Sahan. I know that he's a very versatile champion. Actually, he has a lot of movement and a lot of sustain in his kit, and he doesn't really have a volatile laning phase either. While he has very strong sustain.
Yeah, and just a reminder of part of what his kit is. He has a knockup. He has his passive is basically a free guardian angel. Definitely something to keep in mind during fights. If you go and you focus him, he's coming right back up. But his passive too, definitely a a target of conversation about what makes this champion so strong. And just a reminder of going over the passive. Zahen's attacks and abilities against enemy champions grant him stacks of determination, and those determination stacks give him bonus attack damage per stack. And when he's filled with determination, he increases his attack damage and can revive himself. So the thing about a team fight is if you kill him fast enough, then he will not get his guardian angel. But if you don't kill him in time and he's free firing, that team fight basically becomes a 6v5 almost. And and so it's going to be interesting. He also has a pull in the form of his W and then a dash with his E. And then obviously his ultimate. I just launching himself up and he just does so much damage and heals for a portion of the damage that he does. And so he's just so versatile. But now let's take a look at the rest of the draft. Potato, what are you seeing here from each team?
Well, basically both teams are going to look for throwing hands at each other. They're both going for a very brawlery team comp. I think the Rek'Sai is a little bit out of place. It doesn't really make much sense for me to pick it against the bruisers that they have on the red side. Um, and it doesn't fit the theme very much with Zeri on the scaling wise.
I think too, though, it fits a little bit with Zeri, with both champions can dash over a wall, but also Zeri, maybe not always the champion you want dashing over the wall into danger, as the Zehen will have a little bit of a struggle following up with that. And so you have to be very careful with it. But we know that Zeri, a hyperscaling ADC that can be oh so strong. And if I'm looking at Lobster Spicy, I'm telling them, hey, you cannot be dying early and going down early like you did in the last game. You cannot let it snowball out of control early on. As we look at the rest of the bands come in, Lulu and Poppy for the side of Lobster Spicy, and Brahma and Tarek for the side of Cyclone. So the support pools being chopped down here, as we see the Alistar is going to get paired alongside the Sivir, and Gragas coming in. Is this going to be Gragas mid lane if locked in, or Gragas support? Actually, excuse me, Gragas support used to exist in League of Legends, and we're gonna have to wait and see if it's locked in. It may be a hover just to tease us a little bit, get us excited over nothing. And but it's going to be interesting to see as Gragas is locked in. Potato, what do you make of this Gragas pick?
Well, Gragas is actually not a bad pick against Alistar because his E overwrites the inputs of Alistar. So he has autonomy on his spells.
That's right.
That's very
Keep
good.
in
And they're
mind,
very, very, they're having a very, very static team fight on the red side. So Anivia is a wonderful pick against them, actually. So they have a lot of movement speed, yes, but after their first engage, they're very, very slow, and they're all very short ranged. And Anivia, with her walls and terrain scaling, with her ultimate, is very, very potent against this team with the Gragas cask on top of it. So it's gonna be very, very difficult to find good fighting spots in no matter which terrain they are.
definitely. And keep in mind with the Gragas Dash has the most priority out of any dash in the game, which means that if a dash goes into Gragas, Gragas wins and his stun overrides. And so it's something to keep an eye on as we see Amel come out in the mid lane. This should be fairly simple on where things are going outside of the Gragas. We expect Gragas to go into the support role as a counter to Alistar. Potato, which draft are you favoring here?
Well, excluding the Mel, I heavily prioritized the blue side draft. It is so strong against all four of their champions, but Mel is very imbalanced, I think. She has very much potence to solo carry this game. So if she is getting ahead, she is the one that can carry. If she falls behind, the team falls with her. So all relies on her.
Yeah, and that's going to be Declan piloting the Mel. A rough couple of past games for him between this series and his last. Hopefully, he's going to be able to bounce back on this Mel and send us to game 3. But you mentioned how good the Anivia wall can be. Now, the thing is, you have to be careful with that Anivia wall. Lobster Spicy have ways to get over it. This Wukong and Jax can go over it. And obviously, if you put down a bad wall, you will grant Mel and Sivir some protection. Another thing I would like to point out with that wall is you can also isolate. If Jax dives in, suddenly you push back the Alistar, the Mel, and then the team fight becomes so separated. And I've already highlighted how Lobster Spicy have been struggling with their team fights. And so while I like the composition, I'm worried especially about them making sure they're sticking together and fighting together for this game 3 2. Potato, if there's one lane to highlight, what do you think is the highlight lane?
Oh, the center of attention has to be mid lane because it's the most important lane for the lobster for the lobsters because like said the team falls with Mel and the team can win because only of Mel.
This
So
mid
if she
lane.
falls behind, this game is a catastrophe.
You heard it from our analyst. The mid lane is going to be the center of attention. Do you think that means that this Wukong and Rek'Sai will be showing a little extra favoritism towards the mid lane in this game?
Well, they should just. Well, it's basically not that they are supposed to just find kills on Mel. That's not really their task. Their task is basically that they are letting Anivia get through her to her first or second recall, depending on what she can buy. And when she's able to hit like level 9, then she should be very free to play the lane, completely fine with having her lost chapter or already going into Rod of Ages.
Yep, and I just got word from production. This will take a little longer. We're going to do a bit of a mock draft to make sure that we do not have the same issues that we found in the last game. So this may take a little bit longer for us to get into this one. And keep in mind, obviously, the Fearless format, a lot of champions already out of the pool alongside with the bans. But you mentioned how important mid lane is going to be. I'm also curious to see how this Zehen is going to be piloted. He can be really strong, but also Jax, another strong top laner. And Wukong is just going to be looking to farm to level 6. And Rek'Sai, though, it's going to be interesting to see what she kind of does. It feels like this team comp isn't really ready as much for the dives with the Rek'Sai, but maybe you throw up an Anivia wall, and when Rek'Sai comes over a terrain wall, you throw up the Anivia wall, and you aren't going anywhere. It's a great way to get some flashes out, especially on this Mel. And if you are Sagaster on this Alistar potato, how do you get past the Gragas dash?
Mm, well, there's not really a way for him to get out of the Gragas dash because Gragas dash has the priority always, and Gragas should hold his dash for all the time for Alistar only, or for the Wukong if he tries to find and engage. So he should not be reactive. He shouldn't be proactive. He should be reactive with his dashes.
Okay. Who do you think is favored in this bot side matchup early on in the laning phase?
I do not know much about Sahan. That's the problem. But I would say it is still favored for Sivir and Alistar in general because of how the champions themselves function.
Yeah, as we're going to get into this game shortly again, they are doing a test lobby currently to make sure that we have everything all set to go and we are not going to have another crash. Again, like the previous game, we want to bring you the best quality production we can here at Zenith League, and we do our best. Although sometimes there's a few hiccups with Riot, but it's Riot. Can you really expect better? But I do like the draft of Cyclone Gaming more. I think definitely, like you mentioned, if this Mel gets out of hand, or if they can find an early lead, I think this Lobster Spicy draft will become very scary. But I'm going to be interested to see what the kind of plan is. I think it's a more front to back team comp for the side of Cyclone Gaming. You just want Rek'Sai and Gragas and Zehen in the front while you keep Anivia and Zeri safe. And for the side of Lobster Spicy, they've drafted a bit more of a dive comp with the Jackson, the Wukong, and the Alistar all going to be diving in onto the back line. The only thing is, how are you going to keep Requiem and Declan safe? As now, I think we may be all set to go for the game. We should be getting into it very shortly. We apologize to our dear viewers for the wait, but we're really excited to see if they can fight back for the side of Lobster Spicy. Again, a little bit of a look at the playoff standings right now. Cyclone Gaming secured for playoffs at 7-1. Dangerous Game right behind them at 6-1. The Roswell duo of green and blue coming in at 5-2 each. And Ceuta Guardians Academy sitting at 3-4 in the 5 seed. And Observant Force Junior sitting at the 6 seed at 2-4. Lobster Spicy just outside of playoffs right now at the 7 seed at 2-5. Then JB Finance and Partner 1-4, and Carmadillos and Dynamo New Dawn are planning for next season as they wait for at 1-5, and it's been a rough year for them. Some good showings from the teams, but good showings are not enough. You need good wins if you want to go to playoffs. And again, Lobster Spicy, you got to have a good game here if you're going to get to playoffs. And if they lose here, it's kind of out of their control. We're testing the lobby a little bit. Did my Wi-Fi die? Can you still hear me, Potato?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thought my Wi-Fi died to the snowstorm for a second. I'm over here in America. I'm getting snow. It's a lovely winter day outside as the snow falls down. We will shortly be getting into the match. Again, I apologize. We are getting the delay set up before we get into the match, and that should be done shortly.
Well, we
And
could start. We can talk about the lanes a little bit before the game starts. So the Gragas against Jax should obviously slightly favor the Gragas with just his sustain, or not favor, but he is just out sustaining him, and there is nothing that can happen in top lane. Mid lane is very volatile in the early stages without the Nivea having her ultimate, so before she hits 6 and her first recall, it will be a little bit difficult for her to play the lane against the massive amounts of poke that that
Mel
that
offers.
Mel has. Yeah, my bad. Sorry. And
Real
bot
quick,
lane.
gonna cut you off real quick to point out the Gragas is officially going into the top side, and this is a Zehen support. So this is not what we were expecting. Those Alistar dashes will not be blocked over in the bot lane. Now, go ahead, Potato.
Well, they will still be blocked in later stages of the game, which is an important thing. That's why I pointed it out.
Yeah,
So.
definitely during the team fights.
Mm.
And if you're the side of Lobster Spicy, if you were their coach, what are you telling them that they need to change in order to bounce back for game 2 compared to game 1?
Well, this game they absolutely need to pay a lot of attention for mid lane because Mel is their highest win probability with her kit against enemy champions. So and they have a lot of dive on their side, right? And they have with a lot of speed on with the Sivir ultimate. So they can still find opportunities with a flash WQ from Alistar. But the thing I really want to point out is the runes. I think that Nivea should have went not fleet footwork. Yeah, no, not fleet
Now,
footwork.
hold on. We're going to get action at level
Mel
1.
might be
Declan's
a
got
good.
out. He was going exploring in the jungle, and he's going to have to flash, and Linkazo cannot find the kill, but Declan has to back already, and it's an early lead for them again. And also, pointing out Lozakone had to come down to keep his mid laner safe, so he's going to be a bit delayed on his clear too. And the teleport burned by Declan already. we are not even 2 minutes in, and Declan has no summoner spells and is down in CS.
Well, it shouldn't hurt him that much. The CS hurts a lot if he missed the XP of the first 3 minions. That would be a tragedy. But other than that, he should still be hard winning the. So looking at the levels really quickly, it seems that Mel has missed the first 3 minions because she hit level 2 very later, a lot later. But something might be happening in bot lane.
Something may be happening bot lane indeed, as now we're going to see Requiem taking over a little bit. Kill maybe a little bit too far up. It's going to be interesting to see the Zehen. He could be a support champion. Hold on, Fido's here. Fido's here, and he's gonna look to come over the wall, and Requiem has no clue. Don't step up! Don't step up, and Requiem, you're in too far. He's gonna be pulled in by Kill, but the headbutt from Cyclon will put Fido back with his teammates, and they're just going to be able to walk out of there. The heal burned by Cyclon, and the ghost burned by Palomito. As now they're gonna go back in, and suddenly Cyclon, it may be caught out, but Kill cannot get the damage on him.
That was a misplay.
And now Kill's gonna have to run.
That was a big misplay by Requiem. He could have killed Zahan there.
Could have killed.
And it's very, very bad for blue team, for the Rex side, because she's losing her whole topside jungle, and she will not get aid from her top lane or her mid lane because they are getting pushed in very, very hard.
Yeah, and I'd also like to point out, Requiem did have to burn the flash, and Kill also burning his flash and his heal. So barrier and flash, the only remaining summoner spells on the spot side. And Declan, you got to be careful. This is exactly why Linkazo went with the electrocute, and Declan will get the stun to get him out of there. But you mentioned maybe a bit of a questionable choice going for electrocute. What would you have rather seen from the runes for Linkazo?
Forgot the name. Where you get faster when you hit free spells. Forgot.
Phase rush.
Oh yeah, phase rush. Thank you.
Phase rush.
Phase rush is way more valuable because you can proc phase rush on Anivia with just your Q and your E. Because your Q, the first instance that hits you, and then the stun and then the tick after it passes you and you activate it, it counts as 2 instances of a spell.
Very interesting information to know. Thank you. As we see the supports over in the mid lane, and again, it's going to be interesting to see what Kill does on this Zehen. Zehen is it's in the early stages of the champ being out, so we're in those early stages where everyone says I can make him work in any lane. I've seen as far as ADC's Zehen, because people get excited about the new champ. And now we're going to see Requiem's wave clear coming out. His wave clear isn't going to be the greatest yet until he gets his Essence Reaver, which will grant him that extra mana that he needs. If you have not played Sivir, she bleeds mana. And so I'm looking at Requiem to definitely be careful with it, as Mariofi will push in the topside wave. Maybe go for a little bit of a roam and go for a journey. As we see the supports coming back to the mid lane. And now, hold on, Fido is here, and he's going to be headbutted by Cyclon in the middle of it. But now the headbutt will keep Kaido away, but it may not be enough to get Cyclon out of there, as Requiem's going to free fire and keep his support safe. And they could not find the pick, and Fido is going to have to back with disappointment on his face. And look at the items for the junglers. The Sheen already made, but now a massive stun onto 2 of them, as now everyone's going to be coming in, and Lozakon is here, but now Requiem's going to be in danger on the back line, but Fido cannot find anything, and it's going to be a kill over to the Wukong, and now Kill is going to be resurrecting. But Palomito, what can you do? You can't do anything. You can only watch with a sad expression, and now Palomito actually going to look. No, he's going to be able to back up. I thought they were going to look to keep going onto him, but they know that Linkazo was roaming down, and they will back away with 2 kills to boot. Tato,
well,
what could they have done better there?
Well, the big problem here is you can try to go for the first play, even though it's not a very good opportunity to go for. because your topside camps are already respawning, and you are very, very far behind in the jungle already with the CS deficit you have, because you're already down 3 camps. So you should not try to look for flips like this.
Fair enough. As we see the roam timers coming out for the support, it's going to be really important that they try to match each other. It's like making sure your best friend is staying out of trouble at the party. Wherever he goes, you go. And when he tries to do something dumb, you say, hey, nope, and keeping them safe. But we see a bit of trading over in the top side. Fronts are gonna get that chip damage onto Mariofi, as now in the middle. Hold on, Sedastro is gonna go in onto Kill, but Kill is going to have what he needs to get out of there. And Sedastro gonna help the clan get some farm, but if you look at the CS totals, it's relatively even around the board, except for the top side in the jungle. And Kill's actually going to pull Sidaster back as the clan fires the stun over the top, and it'll disperse the crowd that was forming.
Well, I wanna point out a few things about randomization here. I think it's very good that both ADCs went for call, because both there will not happen much in both lanes for them. And I do not like that the Anivia went for tier and still goes for Rod of Ages. I think you should not go for the Rod of Ages and tier. I think tier or Rod of Ages itself is enough defensive stats for the game.
Interesting, as we see that the Infernal Drake still sitting alone in the bot side, no one opting to go for it yet, and the Void Grubs are up too. And look at the vision. More vision over the river for the side of Lobstar Spicy. As now, hold on, Declan's gonna actually be caught out in the mid lane, and he's gonna flash away, but the wall will secure your fate, and Fido will pick up the first kill. And that was your highlight player, and my highlight player, Declan. Gotta make sure you're not caught out. We didn't get to see what happened there to catch him out, but it's a kill and the grub's going over. Now, hopefully Lazacone can recognize that this is your time to take that Drake. And Mariofi going to stay back. He knows that there might be something fishy going up in this top side. And now it's just going to be the handshake of the objectives. Potato, what of the two objectives do you prefer to get earlier, Drake or Grubs?
Well, it's depending a lot on the team comms, obviously. So for this game, if everything goes right and Declan doesn't get caught for no reason, because they have autonomy on all three on mid lane and bot lane very easily. And Jax can easily fight the Jax can easily fight the Gragas off with the Wukong on his side against the 2v2 on top lane. So they should have been able to get both kills.
Speaking of being able to get both kills, Declan's gonna be down in the mid lane, but the Cyclone comes out as both objectives, excuse me, not both kills, misspoken from both of us casters, and Declan is caught again and goes down again. Look to just keep abusing him. We have a little bit of trading on the top side, but this is what I like to say. Top side, his trading is just like a night or a fight at the bar. Nobody wins. And especially when you have an extra drunk man in the form of Gragas. But now, Rekko might have stepped in a little bit too much, but he's going to dodge the ability from Kill, and Sidaster's gonna be here and actually headbutt pulverizing. Now he's gonna be knocked into the wall, and he's gonna pop the ultimate, and now Requiem also popping his ultimate to make sure to get the speed boost, and Palomino's gonna look to get out of there, but it may not be enough as Requiem chasing him down. Requiem flashes away from Kill, but now he's gonna get the kill onto Palomino, and Kill could not find a trade back, and now Sidaster's gonna look to chase him down, and he's gonna stun him up, and it's just gonna be a double kill to Requiem. Requiem wants revenge for what happened to him in game 1, and they will get the plating on the tower as well. They'll take a plate and back off, and that is how you use your ultimates, ladies and gentlemen. Now we see people starting to get back out on the map. Mariofi going to back. We have a little bit of time until the next objective. Codric's not up until a little under 3 minutes, and Lazacon's gonna look to remove the portals. Something that's important is making sure that Rek'Sai does not have maximum map mobility, but it's hard to stop what's going on in her jungle. But now we see Kill just positioning around this mid lane again, but Cydaster going to spot him out and make sure that he's not doing anything suspicious. As now Kill's gonna pull back inside Aster, and Lazacon's in the area, but Lazacon's just waiting. Lazacone is just waiting still, and they were hoping to bait him in, and Cydaster's bait did not work. They sensed that something was fishy and there was some monkey business going on, and they will back away.
Well, looking at the jungle so far, the Rek'Sai was able to manage to get back into the game with getting the CS, and she's also equal in levels now. Mid lane is a little bit up in CS, but basically she's with the assists up around 1.5 or 2, 1.5 kills. Top lane might be getting killed.
Speaking of 1.5 kills, Mariofi, they're gonna split the kill between them as Fido came in and the Gragas knockback, and there was nothing that Mariofi could do. And it's another kill over onto this Rek'Sai as we see first items starting to come online. But no first item yet on the Zeri, and no first item yet on the Mel, as actually I eat my words. Luden's companion for Mel. But it's been a heavy topic of debate recently whether Luden's companion is worth going first or not. Potato, what is your take on that item?
Well, I think in this game it's a blunder because you're gonna have 4 champions that have health in the health build, so you should go for the more CDR heavy based and more burn damage based item build. Because you already see that Anivia has her Rod of Ages. You know that Rek'Sai will build a little bit of tankiness with HP. You know that Zahan is gonna build a little bit of HP, and you know Gragas will build a little bit of HP, unless he's going full AP Gragas, which can also be a possibility.
And it could be a possibility, but another possibility, sorry to cut you off, is the possibility that the egg's gonna be burnt as they will take down the Anivia, but he actually is going to revive with the egg. They didn't have the damage, and Linkazo is going to look to get out of here. He's going to use the blast cone, but in the bot side, Fido is going to trade his life for Requiem, and Linkazo caught on the wrong side of history as the flash was not good enough. Lazacone says hello, and this time, this week, they will properly get the kill handed over. If you missed their last game, they tried to have a kill put over onto the Fed Lazacone, and Cydaster went down in the process, and a free kill turned into a 1-for-1. And now Cydaster's actually going to look to knock out Palomino. He's going to be knocked into the wall, but now Lazacone is here, and he's going to look to use the clone to get onto him, but he doesn't have the Cyclone. There's not as much he can do, and now Palomino free firing into Cydaster, and they will have to back up. They're going to look to defend the turret as Requiem comes back up, and keep an eye on the map. The Rift Herald looks to be started up by Fido, knowing that Lazacone is in this bot side, and the Cloud Drake is up. That's another soul we will have off the table. But also, look at the division. Look at that control ward on the brush next to the Wolves camp on the red side jungle. That's going to be really big for knowing what's going on with air traffic control here. And it's not going to be a trade of objectives, as Fido just claims the Rift Herald.
Well, one thing I wanted to point out about the bot lane fight there at the end is that Seri should never have been. Seri should never have been forced to use all her sums and ultimate there. The Gragas should have went for the TP, and they were easily able to catch one off there.
Yeah, so and Palomino already having to burn we've seen already this game, that he's had to burn his summoners in bad spots as Cloud Drake will go over. And now 2 Drakes for the side of Lobster Spicy. And I love getting to stack Drakes early as it just applies so much pressure later. And if the game is relatively even or you have a lead, then the opponents have to come into you. But now we'll have some jungle exchanges as invades on either side. But Requiem has to be careful. Hold on. He does have the ultimate kick to get out of there as now the smite comes down to get rid of the spell shield, but it's not enough to take him down. And Requiem will walk away without even having to burn his ultimate. But a nice job by Fido with the Sivir spell shield. If you smite it, it does get rid of the spell shield. An important little interaction to note. And now look at the vision. This bot side of the map is going to be run by Lobster Spicy, but the top side is a run by by this blue side. And so it's going to be interesting to see if teams can actually safely walk into their own jungles. If you are either side here, Potato, what is the plan for the next Drake?
Well, for the next Drake, the easiest way for the blue side is to slowly go into the Drake pit step by step, and just making the game play out very, very slow, because they are the ones that dictate the pace of the fights. So it's very, very difficult, if they are playing it properly, for red team to find positions to get a kill.
It's going to be difficult positions to find a kill as we see a bit more trading, but the clan barely gets out of there. But now the Cyclone's going to go in on the top side, and now the Jax is under the turret, but it doesn't matter as Fronta will go down. And it's a traded kill, and the clan actually fell in the bot side. It looks like he tried to stick around.
I don't know why he's
and
going back to the tower.
For it. Yeah, a bad mistake to go back to the tower, as this lower tier 2 will fall from Shelly, and they may get some damage onto the tier 3 unless they elect to go somewhere else with it, but probably not. And Mariofi may be able to claim a turret back in the top side, as the top side tier 1 will in fact fall. And now the mid tier 1 is actually going to fall as well. Potato, what is the key for either of these teams to focus on as we see the gold lead starting to get to 2,000 in favor of this blue side? What do you do to get back into it?
Well, the best option to get into the game is to hope that the blue team is a slightly bit misstepping, so Alistar or Wukong can find an engage, which they can follow up with the Mel after a Mel E or something, and with the Sivir ultimate to get in. But it's gonna be very, very difficult if they don't find Anivia. She can disrupt the team fights very, very easily with her ultimate and the W. Also the Gragas with his ultimate and his E.
Yeah, they're going to look for the overstep, but still, even if they overstep, it's going to be difficult. And just keep an eye on the gold lead. Still 2,000. It's not terrible, but we saw what happened last game when the gold lead started, and for some reason we have 2 control wards in 1 bush. And sometimes you get moments like that, a little bit of miscommunication, but we see the wards across the map, especially in this bot side, as everyone positions for the next Drake. It's going to be a Hex Tech Soul, so keep that in mind, as Lobster Spicy 2 Drakes away from Soul Point, and the Otacon is up. And if you have not been following League's patch notes, Otacon being removed for the 2026 season, but also what may be getting removed is Kill here, but no, he's going to be able to walk out. There was not a good follow-up, but we see everyone besides the top side positioning near this bot, but both top laners have TP, but who doesn't have TP is Kill, who's going to be caught out. What was he thinking going in? And he has to pop the heal in order to get out of there. A massive overstep from Kill. He has to be careful. He is not playing a tank support. He's playing a bruiser. But now, hold on, 3 members together, and if they understand what's about to go on is this bot lane maybe caught out, but no, they're going to be spotted on vision, and they're going to back up everyone is positioning here for this next upcoming fight is over in the top side, a bit more trading. But when are those top laners going to come down? And now Kill is going to have to back, but now Declan going to be caught out again, and he's just brought into the depths of the pool, and he's going to be drowned by Fido. Another massive overstep from the clan as he is 1-4, and this will be the Hextech Drake over to the side of blue.
Okay, I don't know why they are not getting both objectives here. It makes no, doesn't make sense at all. They could have easily gotten the Atakan first and then get fallen back to the Dragon, because there is no possibility for the red team to interrupt the fight.
Yeah, and just questionable. What? Maybe they didn't feel confident going in on the Otacon. Maybe they said we don't know where the rest of the members are. Requiem can be very scary here on the 2-item Sivir. But
well, even if they don't know where they are, it doesn't matter because they can't enter with the Nivea.
That's true. But now they're just going to have to look to refocus. They still have that 2-1 Drake lead. But what you cannot let happen is you cannot let Cyclone stack up 4 Hextech Drakes with a soul. Declan going to finally be more alone in the spot side, maybe feeling a little more confident. But again, it's been the story of these past 2 series for Declan, is he just steps up way too far and gets punished. And so I'm looking at him to play more of a careful game here, because especially you mentioned how important he is on the Mel, and this game has not been good for him. And speaking of what might not be good for him is the fact if he's caught out here, but no, he saw Kill on the vision and is going to back him down. As everyone starting to position to this bot side, as noticed that Mariofi is going to be coming down here as well. And they're going to path over towards middle, but it's going to be really interesting to see when they pull the trigger on this Otacon, when you feel comfortable. That armor shred, oh so important. And speaking of what's so important is if they get caught out here, and now everyone's gonna be caught out as Sidasper's gonna knock him up, but the Zehen ultimate comes out, and the clone left behind, and the Cyclone pop to help the disengage. Sidasper down to half HP, but now be careful of this Otacon. It may be time to go, some of the teams are saying, but all 5 members are here, and now the wall is actually going to keep us safe, but Sidasper went in, but now Links are going to go into the egg, and now the going over the wall is Fido, as he's going to take them all, but he's just going to be dead. But now Mariofi looking to charge back in, but he doesn't have his teammates behind him to go with him, and he's just going to be in by himself, and it's more discoordinated team fighting from the side of Lobstar Spicy, and now the clan is trapped in, locked in a room with 4 thugs about to beat you up, and you get beaten to a bloody pulp. 4 for 1, and they're not going to take this Otacon since it is Lozacone who is up, and they do not have their jungler.
Well, it was very, very good for Mel to get the Nivea egg with her ultimate, but after that they should not try to follow that up. There is no possibility to do anything with them losing Sivir to the Rek'Sai. They should just get Rek'Sai as well and try to head out, because that would mean that they're not able to get any objective in general.
Yeah, and now keep in mind this Baron is on the map, and the Otacon's still up, but excuse me, as now we see everyone's starting to positioning around the top side. We don't expect them to start the Baron up, but actually they're just gonna go for it. They know Declan probably went to the bot lane, and now there's going to be 5 members on top of it, and Declan has to teleport fast. But where is he going to teleport to? He's not paying attention. He teleports to the mid lane. He's not going to be here for this team fight. But now, Cyclone going to be backed off of it, and now they may be caught out, but no, they're going to go in for the engage.
They're engaging, they're giving them a space.
But the Cyclone is going to be massive. They're all knocked up, but everyone's separated. It doesn't matter what you're doing at the backside. Now, everyone falls. Mario, if you're going to look to come in and to get anything back, but no, you can't do anything. It doesn't matter if your Cyclone's massive. We will find your backline, and we will dismantle them. Cyclone looking to just buy time for his teammates to respawn, but it's a delayed ace for the side of Cyclone.
There were a few mistakes for each team. I don't know why the blue side gave the opportunity for the red side to engage them. They can play the game, they can play the fights a lot slower. There's no need for them to rush because they are the dominant team. They are controlling the speed of the fights. Even though Wukong found a very good Cyclone, it did unfortunately not matter because everyone is so far behind.
Everyone is so far behind. And I'd also like to point out the fact that I mentioned it in the pregame draft, that one of my worries was when your dive comp goes in, your carries are going to be left behind and left exposed. And that is precisely what happened. Zenith and Mariofi went in, and there was no one to protect Declan and Requiem from Fido and from Palomito. And now that next Drake is going to be up, as there's going to be a little bit of trading on the top side, but those empowered siege minions are going to be doing a lot of work. And now everyone knows how big this Drake is. If you're going to get back into this game from a 9,000 gold deficit, I think for the side of Lobster Spicy, you have to get this Drake. You have to apply the pressure of Soul onto them. You cannot just let it go over. But just like last game, it started to get a little out of hand and they could never pull it back. Once they were knocked down, they stayed down. Lobster Spicy, if you want to keep your hopes of making the Christmas dinner table alive, then you have to find something to fight back here. You do not want to be watching playoffs from the bench, but now it's going to be set up and they're going to find his way out to the clan. This fight is going to go in, but now the Cyclone's going to come over the top and keep him, but the wall is going to separate Laws of Cone. Fighter's on the wrong side of history, but it doesn't matter when Years Ahead is coming in with the ultimate and everyone's fallen. The clan was dead. Requiem's next up, and Laws of Cone can only walk away. Cydaster gets out of there with his life, but he has a story to tell. He has to tell the boys they are not going to make playoffs at this rate, and they will fall down. And they don't even elect to take the Drake. They're going to look to siege into the tier 3 and drop these turrets. They don't even want the Otacon. And now you're going to see as Mariofi, Lazarcone, and Cydaster have to find some defense for this. The inhibitors are going down, but Mariofi's down to half HP as he's going to look to be in danger here as it's 5 versus 3, but your teammates are getting up and everyone will have to back off. They're going to use the Hex Tech gates and they're going to use the empowered recall to get back. Potato, do you like the inhibitor play or do you think they should have gone for the objectives?
Well, this time the inhibitors are kind of fine because you can now play for top lane and you already have the Baron buff. So there is no objective to fight on besides the Arakan basically. But you don't need to fight for that. You are winning the fights straight up anyways. So you can just play it safe for playing on for the bird top lane inhibitor and then slowly win the game.
Definitely have to play it safe, but now everyone's gonna go in as Kill gets a massive ultimate onto them. But now Kill is on the wrong side of history. But now Linkazo's on a rampage and he's not looking to stop. And the front is gonna charge in and everyone's dropping it over on the backside. Mariofi isn't gonna be able to find enough. Linkazo is too damn tanky and Requiem's gonna fall. fall. A 5-for-2 for the side of Cyclone. They will look to continue their reign of dominance, and they're just going to look to push the base. It is 23 seconds left until Lozakone and Sidaster are up, but it may not be enough time. You can only watch the windows being locked, the front doors being locked, and you're going to have to pray for your playoff hopes as Cyclone Gaming will take this series in a 2-0 sweep. Good game, good night. That will be our series. Lobster Spicy tried to go for the Hail Mary play, but they saw that the teleport from Mariofi was coming in. They threw down the wall, and Mariofi was just on the wrong side of history, and there was nothing he could do to get back into that game.
I don't know why they choose at the end to make the last stand before the dragon, even though they were not on Dragon Soul point for the other team. So I would have much rather have seen them play the last fight in their base, where they had a much greater chance to win a fight, or at Adakan.
Yeah, and for the side of Lobster Spicy, just another unfortunate series. It feels like the team fighting is just not there. It's very disorganized. You saw around that Baron pit how Mariofi and Lozakone went in onto the back line, but they left their carries out to dry. And they were left to the wolves, and there was nothing they could do. And if you are the side of Cyclone Gaming, another win on the docket. They move to 8-1, and Lobster Spicy will fall to 2-6 and have to hope that things turn out well for them, where they can pick up a win and secure playoffs in the final game. But for now, that'll be it from us on the desk. Make sure to stick around for the next series coming up shortly. Thank you so much, everyone. We were your casters, Shadow Dweller and Potato Jesus, and we hope you all will stick around for the next series. Welcome back, everyone, to our second series of the night. We already have the draft done, but it'll be Ceuta Guardians Academy versus JB Finance and Partner, and taking a look at playoff scenarios. Ceuta Guardians Academy sitting at the 5 seed right now, 3 and 4. Win and you're in. And for the side of JB Finance and Partner sitting at the 8 seed at 1 and 4, lose and you're out. Both teams playing for their playoff lives and hopes and dreams here. I mentioned it in the previous game. If you want a seat at the Christmas dinner table, this is your time to earn it. We have our drafts already set up. Potato, which draft are you favoring more?
Well, both teams have a clear composition at least this time. First of all, red team very has a very one-shot heavy team comp, and they have very good brawling possibilities. So they are very good against champions like Silas and Braum. But the problem is for them, if they get one kill on the side of the blue team, Jinx will go on a murder streak because it's very, very easy to find positions with Cho'Gath Q and the poke from Hui. And for Braum, with his ultimate, he has a lot of possibilities to disengage. And the Malphite ultimate is very, very good for Silas to steal. So I would favor the blue team for a strong bit.
Yeah, I think I'm favoring this blue side draft as well. We will get into this game very shortly, but looking at these drafts again, you mentioned more of a one shot heavy comp. If you have not been seeing the Malphite shenanigans going on, building Malphite full AP can one tap any ADC. And so it's going to be interesting what they want to do. I'm also curious who's actually going into the support lane here for JB Finance and Partner on this red side. Who are you looking at as the support champion here?
Well, probably gonna be the Swain. Swain makes the most sense for me because it should be Malphite jungle, Renekton top lane. Also on mid lane. You can also make an argument for Malphite to be support, but then you have a problem. Who is going jungle? It would have to be the Renekton, and Renekton is not very happy in the jungle because he wants to accelerate in a lane, because that's where he's getting more gold in. So it's gonna be probably the Swain support.
That's what I was thinking as well. Swain support with Malphite in the jungle. Something we've started to see after Malphite's buffs. Again, they buffed multiple tanks in the jungle to try to increase the amount of tank junglers that there is, but also something to keep an eye on, obviously. Hui and Jinx are going to fire from the back line and Cho'Gath in the front. And whenever there's a Cho'Gath, your job as the enemy jungler becomes infinitely more difficult because suddenly you are contesting the smite and the feast. And what I expect from this is I expect this to be Silas Jungle, something that hasn't been too popular but has been picking up slightly in popularity. But we will get into this game shortly as we are waiting on our spectator delay. And Potato, what lane are you looking at, or what matchup are you looking at to be the game winner here?
Uh, there is no clear game-winning lane this time around. To be honest, this will come down to basically if Malphite is getting ahead, he will probably be able to one-shot the Jinx, and then it's gonna be very, very difficult for the blue team to defend against that. But if they're not capable of defending, if they're capable of defending the Jinx and Malphite is not getting ahead massive amounts, then teamfights can be very, very difficult because Jinx will be untouched if Malphite is not able to kill her, because you will not get through Braum and you will not get through Cho'Gath.
Yeah, exactly. And for this Malphite, obviously Malphite traditionally built as a tank, but now that full AP Malphite has risen in popularity, you just dive onto the enemy ADC and literally one ability, and it is a brutal one shot. If you are Ains here on this Malphite, what do you want to see him build?
Oh, full IP. Absolutely full IP. Or do you wanna know which items?
Uh, just the style, full AP. My only thing is, I think then you don't really have a dedicated tank, so I'd more so look at a tank
Really, you
here, but
don't really
also
need a tank. You don't really need a tank because they do not have something that you are like very worried about to tank for a long time. Because when you have Swain in the fights and he's able to get the ult off onto Silos, Brom, and Cho'Gath, he is gonna be actually very tanky. Because he will heal a lot. So it's really sad. Like this team is completely based on if they get a one shot onto Jinx, then it's a very clear cut that they are probably gonna win the fights because then they lack a lot of damage because Jinx is their only like good DPS for team fights. Yes, you have Hui, of course, but Hui has the struggle that he is not really able to hit that many spells when the team fight when like enemies are in his face. It's gonna be very very difficult to pilot.
yeah, and I'm also gonna be curious if you are the Silas, whose alt are you looking to steal kind of in general?
You're mainly looking to steal like free ult. Wait, no, you have actually 4 ultimate targets. One is the Malphite so you can also one shot yourself. Second of all is the Swain. With Swain you can get very very tanky because you have melee composition. You have Malphite on top of you. You have Misfortune on top of you. You have Swain on top of you. You have Malzahar on top of you, and you have Renekton on top of you. Then you have the possibility to steal the Malzahar ulti, where you can also lock one champion down, and it does massive amounts of damage. And you have the opportunity to also steal a Renekton ult, which gives you a lot of tankiness against their team comp.
Sounds good. Thank you for that that analysis. A great analysis indeed. And it looks like now we got some confirmation that we will be your set of casters for all of in the second series. I'm very excited to have that. Um, and I'm especially looking at in this early game, I'm going to look to kind of make sure this Jinx doesn't get out of hand. And I haven't seen a Malphite jungle before, so I don't know exactly how his pathing works. But now the Malphite jungle is not going to work out at all if you're just going to be chunked down early. But Ron will be there to get his jungler out, who now has to back. And over in this top side, Renekton versus Cho'Gath, an interesting matchup. And now Ron may actually be caught out now, and Ains has to back. And so far, this early game is not going well for the side of JB and Finance.
So if you want to look at the lanes, how they play out in the early stages, Renekton is gonna beat the Cho'Gath very easily in the top lane. Mid lane, it's gonna be like a snooze fest for the first 3-4 levels. And then it's getting very, very difficult for Malzahar till he's reaching his lost chapter because Hui has actually a lot of wave clear. And that hits before Malzahar is able to get so much damage on his E that he's clearing the minions with ease. And on bot lane, it should be prioritized for Misfortune and Swain, unless
Suddenly Screamdo's going to go down early, and he's actually going to have to flash out of there. And Calvo does not want to commit his flash. I'd also like to point out we do not have Unsealed Summoner spellbooks in the bot lane at all. And Screamdo barely getting out of there. He's going to pop the potions and try to stick around to help Bubble gain level 2 here. But that is not the kind of trade you want to see early. And if you look at the junglers, now Ains is pathing towards the top side on the Malphite, and so is Viega on the Silas. So maybe we see a fight at the top Scuttle Crab, or at least a little skirmish. But now, hold on. Now
Perfect
Jinx is
kill.
going to be pulled in, and she's just going to be dead already. And now Calvo going to look to get out of there, and he's going to have to burn the flash on the Braum. He could not stop the pull from Swain, who used the Ignite, and Jinx will just burn to the ground. Potato, now, if you are this bot lane duo, what do you have to do to kind of be more careful? But hold on. Speaking of being more careful, Kato is going to be caught out in the top side, maybe, unless he can get something on to Ricky, and flashes are exchanged, and both will walk out just barely with the potions popped. And Kato should be the benefactor, as he will get to farm up this wave, and the junglers are not there yet, but they have to be careful. Both junglers are in the top side, and this is exactly what you cannot do. You cannot go in, because now Vega's here, and Vega's gonna look to take it down. Kato cannot go in, and he's gonna try, but try he might, and he will not find anything. They were
Need to
not aware of
flash.
the jungle pathing at all. Yeah, Vika maybe wasting the flash there a bit, as Ain's gonna take a stroll by. Hello, Clav. How you doing here in the middle? But ping's coming out that Ains is in that jungle, and so the bot lane duo will back off. Potato, what is going to be the key to this topside matchup, do you think?
Well, there's what I really don't like that first of all is that he went Bramble best so early on in the matchup, because the healing is not very big in so early stages. So it's kind of meaningless. You're wasting a lot of gold. So in mathematical terms, you would probably get more or get less damage if you're going Warden's Mail. And with the healing reduce, he just got 120 healing, so 40%. So he was already reduced onto that. So he would have probably healed like 30%, 40 HP more. That doesn't mean anything in this lane, because you're already getting pushed in and you're already losing. So my claim would have been probably that you go AP items first, or basically a Doran's Ring, just so you can sustain the lane better and clear better.
Yeah, but speaking of clearing better, Screamdo is going to be cleared out of this bot side, and Bubble maybe next up. I'm going to have to flash out of there. He's just going to barely be stunned, but the wave not in a good enough spot to go for the turret dive. And that was just an overstep by Scream. He wasn't expecting Viega in that bush. And it's important to note that the Drake is up. It's going to be a Cloud Drake to start us off, so no Cloud Soul, but it's going to be interesting to see what the Soul is later on, as we also see an invade in the top side from Ains. This is something we've seen a lot today, is those invades, and something that's been talked about recently in League, but maybe not, we're not talking enough about this bot lane on the trading. But now if you flash over to the jungle in the top side, Ains is going to be caught here, but he should be able to walk out. And it looks like Clav is going to make his way up just to make sure that his team stays safe, but is not going to be able to find much unless Kato oversteps in the top lane. And Kato is overstepped indeed in the top lane. As over in the bot lane, there's more trading, but up on the top side, Kato's going to be in a lot of trouble, as everyone's going to be coming in. The Hui ability will keep him on the wrong side of history, and he pops the Dominus, but it ain't enough. And he will drop down, and over in the bot lane, both will drop for JB Finance. And now, Ceuta Academy will take 5 kills total here. And then suddenly, Ricky fell in the top lane. AIDS came in, and AIDS gonna look to find it onto Viega, who's gonna look for his full combo, but it's not enough damage to get away from this Malphite, and now the W is gonna be so massive, but AIDS looking to chase it down, and he's gonna flash on top of him and drop him! 2 for 2 in the top side, and a 2 for 0 in the bottom side. Blood all over the rift as bodies are dropping here early.
I really want to point out that I think it's a very, very big mistake that the Malphite is going tank. I think it's a very big mistake, because there is no need for a tank in this matchup, in this game, if you're reading the room correctly. So, because you know that Jinx is basically the only like consistent good damage for the blue side. So getting her out of the fight is the most important thing, because you are going to meld as even a tank Malphite against the Hui that should go to on dot damage. You will just meld slowly, and you are playing against Cho'Gath and Sylas. So it's very, very difficult to fight a very long game. So making it quick is a lot more important.
Yeah, definitely going to be really important. And no one opting for the Cloud Drake yet. As now, hold on, in this bottom side, there may be a little bit of trouble as Bubble and Scream might have overstepped again. But no, they're just going to be able to get out of there. It is a Misfortune who moves quite quickly. And the Grubs are up on the docket, so keep that in mind. And JB and Finance down a little bit early, as now a kill again will go over, and the Malzar will drop, and Ains is going to be pinged out if we go over to the river. Now Ains is going to be in trouble as he's going to be caught by Viga on the Silas, and now the Hui ultimate from Clavios will bring him down. And over in the top side, Kato will also take a kill onto Nishi, as everyone's dropping all over the rift, but it'll be the side of Ceuta walking away with the Drake.
Okay, can we get a short pin on to how much Bramble West has reduced on healing? So you see, he bought it for Bramble West first item, and he did not even reduce 200 HP. So it does not very well. It doesn't show as much value as you want it to be.
Not as much value, but not as much value as the chompers are going to get, as the bullet time gets over the top, but it's not going to be enough, as Jinx is excited and she's going to get out of there with that. Bubble, a bit of a misfire on the bullet time, as Screamdo will go down yet again, and now there's pings all over as they know their teleport coming in on the backside, and now
he's gonna get melted.
in the middle of all of them. It's gonna get melted, but Ace coming in with the massive ultimate double knockup as the Malzar. Oh, will keep him locked down. Clavo's gonna have to back out of there, and now it's a 1-for-1 so far. But now Nishi gonna have to run out of there, as Clavos is gonna back down Ron, and Ron in a little bit of trouble now. He doesn't have his ultimate, and now Nishi's gonna go in onto Ron, as Ains gonna go in onto Clavos, but it's not gonna be enough as the Jinx rocket misses over the top. But it's a 2-for-1 as they finally yield and walk away.
Way is already getting very, very fat at this stage of the game. This is gonna be very, very difficult to find entry points now.
Going to be really difficult, and especially the range on the Hui is so big. I'm not seeing outside of the Malphite. Well, the Renekton too can kind of do it, but you gotta find someone to dive onto him and stop him from free firing from the back line. As also this bot side is falling apart a little bit. The CS is even, but it's 2 kills on the Jinx and 2 kills on the Braum, and you only have a kill to boot for the side of JB and Finance. And also that Hui is just dangerous. The only member that has a good game that's going right so far is Ains at 3-1, and so it's really going to be on him to find the pick angles. Speaking of pick angles in the top side, he might have just found one, as Ains is going to come in on Nishi, but Nishi should be able to just walk out of there. He was preemptively backing up because Kato backed him down, and that's something that as a jungler can be really big, is sometimes your top laners or laners in general get a little bit too excited and go in and start pushing the enemy laner back before your jungler can get there, and it can be oh so brutal, as now Ron's going to be in a lot of trouble, and now the Hui ult will make sure that he falls. Clavios drops him again, and he's up to 4-0 on the Hui.
And I want to point out one more thing, that even if he's able to find those possibilities on the Malphite ultimate, who is gonna kill anyone? They have no damage on their side that can follow up that quickly. Yes, they can use the Misfortune ult, but you have an instant Braum shield and an instant Braum ultimate on your side.
Yeah, and we see in the top side Nishi taking a kill and making Kato fall to his knees and go back to base defeated. as you mentioned it. That Braum shield is going to be so massive for stopping the bullet time, and it you have to be careful now if you're the side of JB Finance. It's only a 2,000 gold lead, but we saw what 2,000 gold leads turned into earlier today. But now Ainz is going to be here. He's going to flash in and use the ultimate, but it's a giant whiff on it, as now they're going to be pulled back, and the bullet time over the top is the Earths will divide from Calvo, but it's not going to be enough to get his drinks out of there. And now Screamdo pops the ultimate, but it's still not enough for the side of Ceuta to get the Jinx out of there. But hold on, Vega's gonna be here on a flank, and he's gonna be looking onto Bubble, and Bubble's gonna be found out by him. He's just gonna dive in, and Ainz had already left, and Bubble will fall yet again.
Oversteps each and everywhere.
Oversteps so big, it's so easy to be caught out, and the warding, look at the vision, there's not much vision, so you never know where that jungler is going to be coming from. As now Ron's going to be burst down, and that will be a kill. Clavios is so strong on this way, and the Dark Steel stacks start stacking. 5-0 now for him. Potato, if there's something you got to do to kind of stem the bleeding, what do you have to do for the side of JB Finance here on this red side?
Well, it's very difficult. You basically hope to somehow get Jinx and Wei out of a team fight, but there is not really one possibility to get that. Even if you find the Malphite angle, there is so much they can do to answer that. And even if you get an ultimate from Malzahar, yes, it does a lot of damage, but the problem is there is no one that can kill both players.
Yeah, it's going to be so difficult, and especially the follow-up just not perfectly there. Like, yes, you have ways to lock down a single member, and the bullet time could be huge. Maybe you want to look for a jungle fight, but if you are the side of Ceuta, it's very easy to say, hey, stay out of the jungle and we're good. As we see, the dominance being popped is doing so much, but Nishi will feast on another body. Kato went all in, and all he found was a grave. Nishi up to 3-2 now, and the Rift Herald will be their reward. We will see Ron warding the bot side jungle, but there's not much that are going to get back for the Rift Herald on the top side.
Well, this game looks very, very much over, unfortunately, already.
Yeah,
like, very, very difficult. They are getting outscaled. They're already very, very far behind.
Yeah, it's so rough here, and even though it's only a 3,000 gold lead, it feels much more than that, and that went from 2,000 to 3,000 in an instant, and in an instant, Ron may be dead. Vega gonna grab the Malzahar ultimate, and he's gonna put it on the Ainz. The way ultimate goes in, but Ainz is too damn tanky unless he's not tanky enough. But the Malzahar will be suppressing him to keep him down, and he will drop to the turret. Vega goes down, and we saw the Jinx rocket firing over the top as it just barely missed Ron. A 1-for-1 miraculously from JB Finance. But now Ron gonna be chunked out, and Clavos is actually gonna go in with the flash, but he misses, and he's gonna take some turret shots. A reminder, he already used that ultimate, but he should drop the tier 1 turret here, and the top and mid tier 1 turrets are gone, and this gold lead has now blossomed to almost 4,000, and it is fallen off the tracks. The train is off the tracks, and it's just plummeting into a ditch oh so quickly for the side of JB Finance.
Yeah, as you mentioned, this train is not gonna stop anytime soon. So there is like, he's not gonna stop at any station. He will just keep plowing down everything.
They will keep plowing down everything. They have to figure out a way to stem the bleeding. Potato, if there's any hope of then getting back into this game, what is it?
Well, the only thing that they somehow can probably get back into a game is when they find a miracle fight at Atakan and get an Atakan at as well, and also probably get the next dragon. That would be the almost like that will give them a slim chance to come back into the game. By the way.
Yeah, already it looks so bad, just slim chances. And right now they're up to, for the side of Ceuta, they are up to Drakes. Keep that in mind. If they grab the next one, it can be oh so bad, as Viga's going to go in onto Ains and he's going to steal the Malphite ultimate, but he's going to have to back out because Screamdo is there. But now he's actually going to go in. He actually wants Ains, but the chains miss. As they're going to take over the jungle. And Viega's going to grab the Scuttle Crab. And now there's some pings going out onto Kato in the top side. And he may be in a little bit of trouble, but no, he's going to be able to walk out. But look at the top side. Nishi is free firing on this turret. And it doesn't look pretty as the turret's down to less than half HP. And now they're just running the bot side jungle. They have to be careful. Ains wants to step up, but maybe you shouldn't step up because Viga's going to be there and he's going to be waiting with your ultimate and he's just going to knock him up. But no, he's actually going to back up. But speaking of backing up, Rons needs to back up and he's not going to. He's going to fall yet again to Clavios, who is going nuclear on this way at 7-0. And if you're the side of Ceuta, you just can do no wrong. The Drake should be going over to them too, and it's a Mountain Soul. You do not want Nishi to get tankier than he already is, as now they're going to look for a dive onto him, but it's just going to be able to walk out. As it's just falling off.
I think their best play would have been to chase him even further down to maybe get a kill. Because there is no possibility to contest the dragon at all. And they should be losing their bot side jungle too. So even to chase him down and getting one kill and getting a little bit of a shutdown is the best choice you can make there.
Yeah, and now is the Viga going in for Bubble, who has to use the flash to get out of there. But right now, I mean, the train has already plummeted into a ditch and the wheels are starting to fall off, but Ains wants to get a little something back as he goes on to Clevo, and now Kata's going to be diving in, and they might have caught the Jinx, and the bullet time over the top is going to make sure she stays down, but they used so many resources. The Swain ult is gone, the Malphite ult is gone, the Misfortune ult is gone, and that's what it took to just get a single kill. It's looking pretty hopeless. The Otacon is up, but they don't want to go for it. That might have been your time to go for it, to try to find something back in this game, but they elect not to. That might be the misplay that kind of keeps them down in this game. They found a pick, and Ron electing to stay in the bot side, even though he had the teleport. And now and teleport to the top side by Nishi, but hold on, he may be in a little bit of danger as the opponents are going to surround him over in this top side. His teammates are going to rush up to get to him, but now it's a 3v1. Is Nishi going to go in onto the Misfortune, but it's not going to be enough as Ains is going to arrive there, and now he's going to be pulled back by Swain, but he's just too tanky. He's just too tanky. It doesn't matter. The teammates are here. Everyone's here, and the Misfortune will go down as the Glacier Fissure comes down. Ains trying to get out of there, but he's not going to be able to. He's just going to be rooted up. It's the bounce house for the Ains, and he will fall. Nishi is too tanky. You can't move a mountain, and their reward will be the Otacon.
Well, you were saying that they should have went to Otacon. I agree. Even though the chances were very low, they will not find a better opportunity the longer the game goes.
But speaking of going to Otacon, Kato went in and Ron teleported, and he just has to use his flash to back away. And now there's 5 members going in, and Screamrose is going to be a sacrifice. They wanted to contest the Otacon at the wrong time, and they will lose 2 members for it. And there's just nothing to get back on the map. There's no objectives. You're not at the turrets. You're not going to get anything for this belt whooping they are receiving. It is a 6K gold lead. Sorry, a 5.5K gold lead, excuse me. And they have nothing to show for it.
What I really like, though, that I want to point out is that Cho'Gath is actually, even though he bought it first item, he's not going to finish the Bramble West into a 4-mail. That is a very, very good choice, because there is nothing on the side on the red team, which is like, yes, you have the Swain with the healing, but it doesn't really matter because it's a support Swain. And he's not going to auto-attack you.
Yeah, and now they may be in even more trouble as everyone's going to be here, and Viega is going to be here, but no, he's not going to go in. Bubble has to keep himself safe. If there's any way to get back into it, it's going to be through your ADC, who is just not having a good time. She's doing decently at 3-3. She has 2 items, but it may not be enough as the bullet time over the top is going to come in from Viega, and Screamdo will fall. And nothing is going right. You can't even put out a hope and a prayer, as they will look to charge it down mid lane and take as many turrets as they can. In the top side, that tier 3 turret is falling as well as Bubble looks to challenge Nishi, but you just do nothing. It's a soft little tickle, pal. What do you think you're gonna do to me? As Nishi is going to look to wait for the next wave. No, he's trolling the back, as Ains gonna actually find him, but Ains did not want to go on to Cheryl. And this rift is just being run by Ceuta. And there is practically no hope of getting back into this game. The only thing to note is the Mountain Soul is up in 20 seconds and the Baron is up in 35. JB and Finance, you need to get to the bot lane. And Chemtech Soul, excuse me, on the spectator it shows Mountain for some reason, but now Ains is going to, or Kato is going to be caught, and Kato's just going to be dead. Nothing he can do. I was going to say what you have to do is handshake the objectives, but you're not even going to get a handshake of the objectives when Nishi's just a monster running you down in your own jungle. And the Chemtech Soul will go over to the side of Ceuta. And this game is pretty much out of reach.
Like, Camden Drake is like the worst dragon of them all, but actually for this team, with having so much healing on their side with Silas and Cho'Gath, it is actually a very good dragon. And also the shield of Braum is getting increased from the locket.
Excuse me. I'm falling asleep here watching this game. My apologies. As we see Clavo's going to look to take the tier 2 and just, you can't step to him. He's 9-0, but they're going to try to step to him anyways, but he's going to recognize their danger and he's going to be back off, but now it's going to be a misfortune running him down, and now everyone's going to be coming in as Ains is going to get ready with the ultimate, but now Clavos has to run out of there as Bubble just sprinting for it. Ains is sprinting for it, and Clavos may be called out here. He's going to go into the bush as he looks to survive, but he's going to be knocked up by the ultimate, and the bullet time over the top is going to be enough to flee onto Bubble. Bubble may drop, but no, he won't drop in time. Clavos will go down, but again, you had to invest 2 ultimates, and he was just a distraction as the Baron goes over to the side of Ceuta. They want to take no risks as they walk their way into the playoff stage. Roll down the red carpet. Game 1 is pretty much over.
They have a very, very hard time to find a way back, because they're not really getting through the tanks, and they're not very tanky enough to sustain the Hui or the Jinx.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for them. We see as Clavios finally takes his first death, but Viega dancing. He knows that they have a secure control on this game. He's just gonna start emoting and he is just going to show off, and he may show off here again, but he's actually going to be spotted out, so Bubba will know to back up. But Ping's coming out, and if you look where Kato is not anywhere near his team, as this may be the final team fight, as now Nishi's gonna go in onto Ron, and Ron may be in the wrong spot. He's in at the wrong place at the wrong time. It's the way he goes in. Get away from your teammates, Ron! But Ron's already dead! Ace is gonna be next up on the chopping block. He's gonna look to get away, but everyone's gonna be going in as Vega goes in with the Malphite ultimate down to Bubble. Swain popping his ultimate, looking to keep him alive as the stopwatch is popped. Kato on the other side is gonna be going in after Cheryl. But now, Viega gonna find his way onto Bubble, and the Scream still popping the Swain ultimate,
They
but
just
now
have no
everyone's just
damage.
dropping. Not enough damage, not enough time. Game 1 will end here as Viega and co will walk down the Nexus, and they will take game 1 in dominant fashion. Potato, what went wrong for the side of JB and Finance?
Well, the biggest problem is that they had, with the full tank Malphite, they had no damage at all in their team. The consistent damage they had was basically the Malzahar. And Malzahar got very, very far back from the start of the game already. So it's already very hard to play the game from get-go.
Yeah, and then just getting bullied in the mid lane by the way, not what you wanted to see. And now going into game 2, they're gonna have to climb a mountain. But guys, we'll get back to you briefly with game 2. We're gonna send it over to a break. See you on the other side. Welcome back, everybody, to game two of JBF Finance against Ceuta Guardians Academy. For game two, we'll have JBF Finance on the red side and Ceuta on the blue side. And after that first game, JBF Finance, you gotta figure something out. Keep in mind, it is your playoff life on the line here. This isn't week 1 or 2. It's not for fun anymore. This is where you make your stand. This is where you have to prove that you belong at the Christmas dinner table. You have to prove that you belong in playoffs and that you are one of the 6 best teams in this league. And if you're Ceuta, the road, you see the end of the road in sight. Your road to playoffs is here. You're climbing a mountain and you're just a few steps away from the peak. But there's one last hill to climb, and it's going to be game two here against JB Finance. And now, both of these teams, playoff hopes and dreams on the line. This is everything to them, as we will shortly get into the draft here. And honestly, Potato, what are you looking to see? Is there a certain composition or certain things you want to see out of JB and Finance to turn this game to around?
Well, I'm not really like I said the previous game. I don't really look for a certain team comp someone should be playing. That's never an option because every team comp is always having a counter pick in hand. So you should always try to bounce on the picks of the other on the other team.
Fair enough. I just need to see a little bit of something different out of JB and Finance. And it honestly, like, it didn't look terrible at first, and then everything fell apart. You cannot have that. You cannot implode like you did in game one. This is it. Yes, we still have one more game to play for each of the teams, but if you lose here, you're out of playoffs. This is everything you've worked for over this entire season. You put this team together and said this is the team that'll bring us to the promised land. And right now, it's not looking that way. We will get the draft started as the bands quickly coming in. A Renata ban first. Very interesting. It looks, if you're going to ban Renata, it's a little more likely that you're going to go in for some sort of dive competition, as Renata has that really good disengage. And over on the side of Ceuta, Trundle, Akali, Ari, some strong picks they just don't want to face, and then Gwen and Syndra rounding it out for JB Finance. But we have to see what each team wants to do. You mentioned it in the last game, Potato, where JB Finance did not have enough damage. So are you looking at them to draft more of a 2 carry comp, or are you looking for them to draft damage all around for this next game?
Well, it's always depending. Sometimes you don't really need a lot of damage when you are able to sustain the enemy team. Then you don't need a lot of damage. Then you just live for all they have. So it's like I said, it's depending a lot.
That's fair enough. And we will see early a Kiana coming out, something that's picked up in pro play in the LPL and the LCK. And we also now see the Caitlyn coming out. You got to wonder what they're going to pair with her. Caitlyn Karma is one of the strongest bot lane duos in the game right now and can absolutely bully anyone. Caitlyn just has such long range, but instead it's going to be the Mundo coming out. Mundo goes where Mundo pleases, and it will be interesting to see what they pair with it. Potato, what would you like to see JB Finance partner with this Caitlyn in the
Well,
bot
right
lane?
now you should not pick your support already. You should wait a little bit on what the enemies are going to pick. to answer with the support, because if you now pick Karma, they can just play to live the lane and dominate you in the later stages, because Karma and Caitlyn are very early based, very heavily early based. Now with having a Vayne, Kiana, and a Lulu in the early stages, you already know that the blue side team really wants to go in very quickly, and they have a very short fight for a second with the Kiana burst. But then you have Lulu and Vayne that want to do a long-standing fight. Vayne is very good against Mundo in isolation, but the problem is with the main pick, you are not able to reach the Caitlyn, and with Seraphine on the side as well, they have so much healing and so much tankiness, so they can turn a fight very, very long. So Kiana is very out of place right now. That's the problem. So we are taking a look on what they're going to ban. So when I would be red side, I would try to ban instant engages, like very, very quick fighters, or very, very strong engages. So like instant engages. I wouldn't ban the Cyan. I would ban something like Ornn with his Ornhorn, something like that. Or if you want anything in the jungle, not jungle. You have Kiana in the jungle. If you want anything like that, it can be very problematic. Is Embessa. And for the blue side team, the bans you would probably otherwise want to ban champions that can go disengage or play a long-term fight and can lock down the Vayne. But you have the Ornn ban at least. That's a good thing. I don't know why you're self-banning the Ambassador. That doesn't really make sense. The Galio ban is good because you're playing two melee ranged champions. And they would be very punished by Galio.
Yeah, and you see now they're switching the ban maybe over to Jax. I agree with all that you said. Vayne good into the Mundo, but how are you going to access Caitlyn? And with a Seraphine just keeping her alive here, and they are going to switch back to the Mbessa ban. Now, if you're the side of Ceuta, what do you want to see out of them?
Well, I probably first of all, you need to wait for the fourth pick here. Let's see what they're gonna pick. You should probably pick a top laner here that you can just survive with. So something that is like very tanky and can just control the game. I wouldn't go with Echo. Echo doesn't really much provide anything for your team. Yes, you can one-shot the Vayne, but it's very difficult to do so against the Lulu Polymorph and the stun from Kiana. So I would have went with something like Cassandra.
Do you think that Cassante will come out in the back half of the draft, right in the last pick?
You can still pick the Cassandra last, but you should have picked mid lane as the last pick because it gives you more possible chances to vary out on what champions you can play against and what you will face. So now that they pick, I think Mel is a very good pick because Mel is able to reach the enemy team. Also provides with her W that she's able to reflect the Seraphine ultimate, which is very, very strong. So right now I probably want him to pick something on top line that is just giving them a good sustainability. I do not like the Sahan very much. I would probably, I don't know if he can play it, but I think GP would have been a very, very good pick here. So,
Yeah,
and now you want to have, now you can still play for the Cassante. Even though it's not great against Mel or Lulu, it's still a good possibility. I would never go Hammerdinger because you are very, very AP heavy now. So that's gonna be a very big problem for them.
the thing is, this Heimerdinger is a counter pick. It is one of the most popular counter picks into the Zehen on this current patch of League. I did just search that up and confirm it. So
Well, it
Heimerdinger,
doesn't
more of
really
a
matter
counter
that
pick.
much that you're countering one lane if you're harming your whole team.
That may be true, but I think we've seen over the three games we've already seen today, the team that wins early and gets the kills early tends to win the games. And that kind of happens with the more low mid range of ranks in this game, is that when you go down early, you stay down. And so I think that's definitely something worth keeping an eye on. But you're not going to have a team that's very accustomed to team fighting.
Well, yeah,
But
you're still looking for, but if looking through that lens, you're basically saying, I'm gonna play better than the other team, which is flawed.
fair enough, guys. We will have to wait a few minutes for the spectator delay. You know how League of Legends goes. But we will be getting into game two shortly. I personally like the JB Finance and Partner draft a lot more. What about you, Potato?
Well, I think JB has good potential to get ahead early, but it's gonna be still very difficult because they are so AAP heavy and they are playing on dive against champions that are very good against dive. So it's gonna be very, very difficult. And Vayne can very, very easily melt through Mundo. And Mel can easily poke out the other champions as well. So if they are trying to opt into a 5v5 fight onto a brawl, it's very easy for Vayne to melt down the Mundo and Zahan to get very much value out of his ultimate. And and also Kiana out of her ultimate. It's very, very easy to get onto dives. So it's very difficult for JBF to find good positions to fight.
Yeah, if so honestly, do you just avoid the 5v5 team fights early if you're JBF?
Well, even if you would try to avoid the team fights early, even in late game, you don't really see a good point of winning those fights. Like said, the Vayne is scaling very, very hard. She is doing so much damage to the Mundo. He will be melting. Yes, he can live a long time with his ultimate and with the Seraphine shields, but who is gonna kill anyone? No one can reach.
No one can reach. And are you concerned about maybe the health bars on the side of Ceuta? With it feels like they don't have a dedicated tank. I mean, Zahen builds Bruiser, and so are you worried that they are a bit too squishy here?
If the game is in an even state with the Lulu and her shields and her ultimate, they do kind of have a tanky-ish person with Zan, because you are not really so how the team fight should be played out is not that they are long and they're just brawling head on for each other. It's basically what CG is looking for is like an explosive team fight. So they're trying to find, oh, we find one catch with the Kiana, someone gets blown up. And everyone but Mundo is gonna get blown up. For example. With the side of JBF, you kind of want to play slow team fights, even though you have the Echo. Uh, but that's why I said Echo doesn't fit the team comp very well, because he's trying to find some explosion where he can't find any explosions with all the CC that is on the side of the blue team. So you're trying to find a slow-paced game. Yes, it's very difficult to find to for them to find an angle for blue team if the game is played properly, because you should just slowly play on Heimerdinger's towers, but you cannot really try to find a spot to hit them. So it's just gonna be a dance basically of who's gonna misstep first.
Thank you for that analysis. Always great to have that deeper understanding of the game. And For either side, I think this is a very precarious game, and I agree with you. The Echo and the Heimerdinger don't really match. I don't mind the Heimerdinger as much because I think it goes on to, hey, you're never gonna catch our back line. Already, you're gonna try to get onto Caitlyn, and Seraphine's gonna knock you up and keep you away. And then you're running through the hail of bullets that is Heimerdinger's turrets, which is why I don't hate the pick as much as maybe one would, but Echo definitely does not fit. Echo gonna be going in with Mundo, but Mundo is more sustain. Echo is a blow up champion, and you have some targets that you can blow up, but as you said, there's no follow up. You're gonna go in, blow someone up, and then Mundo's popping his ultimate to stay alive. He's not going in and blowing someone up with you. And so I'm worried about how Ron is going to pilot this Echo, especially because he is the lowest rank in this lobby at Gold 4. And so if you're Ron, you need to be careful piloting this champion as we will finally get underway with game 2. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. If you are the side of Ceuta Guardians Academy, you are one win away from playoffs. If you are the side of JBF Finance, this is your final stand. This is it. Lose and you're out. Win and you stay alive. Welcome to game 2. This should be a great one.
30 seconds until minions.
Well, first of all,
Potato.
looking at the runes, I do not. I like that Caitlyn is going for first strike, because she's just able to free hit in this lane, and stack it up a lot. The thing I do not like that much is that both ADCs went for the Doran's blade. I think
Minions
that Vayne should probably have went with the longsword and buy triple potions, because they're not really able to find a position to find a win in the early stages of the lane. So it would be more efficient to get more HP through the potions and get your item first.
Understandable. Thank you. I know in lower ranks people don't even think twice about not going Doran's Blade. And now we'll see some early trading over in this bot side as they were sitting in the brush. But now Shiro will be down to half HP already. But we saw this last game where JB and Finance started out so strong in the laning phase and just fell apart.
This just benefits the red team so much more, because you have now the healing on the side of the Seraphine, and you have just way more range, so it's very, very difficult to find back. So I don't know why they were looking for that. This is doom and gloom for the laning state already so quickly.
Yeah, and already they're going to be pushed back and pushed in. And you see the level advantage going over a little bit already. It is early, but still. As we also see both junglers will be pathing down to the bot side. So something to keep an eye out for is the Kiana, as this lane will continue to be pushed in. She is still farming now, so we're a bit away from danger. But mentally, you need to keep track of your jungle pathing. You can almost kind of use your teammates' jungle pathing. Say, hey, he's finishing his jungle up at about this time. We should be careful. But now we see some trading over on the top side. Nishi's going to pull in Kato, but Nishi's now going to be lit up by the turrets. And this is why Heimerdinger is so strong right now and is so favorited into the Zehen, is that Zehen really can't move up. And even if you pull your Heimerdinger forward, he just gets battered by the turrets. Heimerdinger is such an annoying champion to play into. As we see now, there may be a little tussle for the Scuttle Crab, as Ron's going to teleport back, and that may give a little bit of an advantage over to Clavius, who can come down, but is not going to opt to go for it, as Viega will move towards the top side Scuttle Crab. But right now, dominant lanes early, but now they know where Ains is. So Now Viega is going to look to burst down the Scuttle Crab, but now Ron's going to be following in tow, and suddenly Kato may be in trouble as Kato's not going to pull out in time, and he actually took a turret shot, and now he's going to be in a lot of danger. Ains is coming up, but Ron went back to the mid lane, and now Kato's going to be alone there, but Ains is going to get there.
He's fine.
You're right, he is fine. Viega doesn't have enough damage. And now they're going to look to take down Nishi, and Kato's going to be in trouble, but he's going to flash away, and Viega is going to go in and flash him after him, and he will find the kill. But Ains is going to look for the chase down, and he's going to be rooted up. And now, unless Ron has something to say, Viega may get out of there, but no, he's not going to get out of there as Ron will come in. It doesn't matter that you're hidden. Ains flashing back for the kill, and it's a 2-for-1 in the top side, and over in the bot side, more bullying as Cheryl will survive on just a sliver of HP, but Bubble may be waiting on his hook, as now he's gonna look for it, he's gonna flash for it, but the barrier comes out just in the nick of time. But now both are low, and the healing from the Lulu is enough to keep them at
why are they not stepping forward? They can kill them still.
Yeah, they can kill them. A bit of a questionable decision. Maybe they don't want to get too antsy under turret. Maybe it's nerves. You know that this is your final life here in the season in terms of playoffs. And so maybe there's a bit of nerves coming out for the side of JB and Finance, and that's going to be a blown opportunity. Potato. If you, oh my god, hold on a second. Nishi may almost be dead to Kato, but no, Kato's almost dead as well. And the Kentech Drake is up.
He's
Potato,
sick.
do you think they had
He can't stay.
really
He's
blocked
dead
it that
if
bad?
he stays.
Yeah, Nishi may actually be dead as Kato does have the ultimate. Nishi looking to stay. He's dancing. He's dancing like he's putting on a performance, but your performance will only be watched and you will stay around for the next wave. But the turrets will be bursting down the minions early. And keep an eye on this mid lane. Suddenly, Clavius may be in trouble, as Clavius is actually going to be in trouble as they're going to look for him. The Q lands, and he's going to flash out of there, but Ron's going to flash forward and look to burst him down, but Ains is going to be under the turret, and he's going to go after them and hit with the Mel ult, but it's not enough, as Ains will claim the feats of warfare, and Nishi will drop as well. Potato, you highlighted it. He stuck around too long, and Kato will take a kill, and it's a 2,000 gold lead early for the side of JB and Finance. Potato, what do you have to do to stem the bleeding here? If you're Nishi, you're getting bullied. If you're this bot lane, you're getting bullied. And speaking of getting bullied, Ains is going to be coming in, but he misses the bonesaw onto him. But now Calva may be caught, and he's going to have to flash out of there, but he's going to be caught by the bonesaw as Ains is going to go in, and he's going to be burst down, and Bubble Mel will take another kill. Sorry, his first kill, excuse me, but now Viega's going to be here, but he's just going to have to look to back up. Potato, what do you do to stem the bleeding if you are the side of Ceuta?
Well, the correct play would be that you are accepting that you're bleeding, not trying to make any plays, but they are trying to push forward for no reason at all. So they are giving the enemies opportunity to even punish them further, and they are not gonna achieve anything with that.
I agree with you there, and also you saw it a little bit there. Keep in mind, Echo does get those dashes, so you can just dash over the Mel W. It does, or the Mel E, I believe it is, excuse me. And so the threat of that is kind of taken away a little bit, as if the solar snare doesn't land, that's gonna be trouble, because Ron can dash past the solar snare and then suddenly there's no stun. But now a flash coming out of Cheryl in the bot lane to avoid the Seraphine ability, and nothing is going right unless Viega can get something here, as he's gonna look for Kato to overstep, and now Kato might have overstepped as she's gonna pull him in, but the turrets are just doing so much damage, and the Zehen ult comes down and he will drop. And the Void Grubs are up. Keep an eye on that, and they may elect to go for it. But now Ains actually wants Clavius, but he has to be careful. He knows that Viega's in the area, and he cannot overstep with it. As now, he may be in a little bit of trouble, but the Solar Snare is going to be negated, as now Viegas is going to go in, and now the Supreme Display of Talent is going to come out, and Ains will drop. He stayed way too long. and he will be punished for it. And this should be at least a Void Grub over to the side of Ceuta. Potato, what is going on in this bottom lane? Is hold on, the exhaust is going to be put down onto Cheryl, who's going to go in onto Mel, but he's exhausted up. There's not much he can do as Mel is going to pop the barrier, as now Cheryl is just going to keep going in, but now Mel is going to be traded out, and now the two supports are going to look to go at it. They're going to throw hands in this bottom lane, as Screamdo's going to look to go on to Calvo, and Calvo's in a little bit of trouble, but so is Screamdo, and the ability lands, and Summon Airy is not enough, as now both supports will walk away. Potato, what happened in that 2v2 fight?
Well, there were massive misplays on the side for Caitlyn and Seraphine. After they hit the ultimate of after Seraphine hit the double ultimate, they both backed off, and Seraphine exhausted while they are still not fighting. So she's wasting a summoner spell and her ultimate. Caitlyn was then way too far out of the fight, and then they were still winning the fight if they were playing it properly. But the problem was that they are misspacing all of their clicks almost. So they were getting free hits from Wayne, and gave her the opportunity to play with the bush and actually not get hit.
Yeah, and over in the top side, Nishi stuck under turret again, but Ron gonna go in onto Clavios, but now Ron may have to back up as he's gone in a little bit too far. Now the solar snare will do a lot of damage, and the ultimate will too, but Clavios will walk out basically untouched, and Aim's gonna look for a little something, but not gonna find anything here, as we also missed it. The Chemtech Drake was taken by inside of JBF Finance, and more turret plates are going to go over to Kato, as now in this bot side they got to be careful as Cheryl's going to be chunked out,
Missing
but
the
should be able to walk
CC
out.
chain again is very problematic. Not firing out as much damage as they could. They're just stepping away for no reason at all a lot of times.
Yeah,
Ooh,
it's
popping the hex Drinker already. That's very problematic.
and now hold on, Viega's going to flash in, but now
Flashes.
the flash away, but he's going to use this supreme display of talent to no avail, but Kato's going to drop anyways to the Zehen ultimate. And now over in the bot side, it's going to look to be a dive. Zane's going to look to take the turret shots, and now...
What is Seraphine doing? Why is she still tanking?
Seraphine was actually tanking the turret shots. I misspoke, and she never backed up, and it'll turn out a 2-for-1, as Cheryl will go down as well. A questionable decision from Screamdo, as Ron is going to look to come to the top and look to help defend this topside turret, as he's going to get the stun onto both. And suddenly Viega may be going down, and he's actually going to go down to Ron. Ron going to look for a little bit more using the Hex Tech Rocket Belt to get forward, and now the ability will come out and put the slow onto Nisha, and Ron is going to look to burst him down, but no, he may not have enough time, but he will have enough time, and Ron picks up a double kill. And if you're the side of JBF Finance, you're backed into a corner, but you fight best when you're backed into a corner, and they are definitely throwing hands here, but Bubble's going to be in trouble and is going to be caught out, and just as I speak about them doing their best, and now suddenly may get away with both summoner spells. Joe gonna look to go in, and he will find the kill, and the turret's damage not enough. But now, hold on, Ain's gonna look to come in as Calvo may be walking into danger. Calvo's just gonna drop. Ains will take the kill, and it turns out a 1-for-1, and it may be a 1-for-2, as now the flash and the smite onto Cheryl. He's gonna look to roll around, but you can't roll enough. You can roll back to the fountain, as he will drop yet again.
Caitlyn, we should be walking top lane here.
Yeah, Caitlyn looking to actually go to the middle, but now the top lane tower will be undefended, as this may just be the feat. Sorry, not the defeated tower is already gone. Nishi gonna look to claim as many places as he can, but he's not gonna be able to finish this tower off. And now we look as Vega chunked down to half HP when farming in the jungle, and now Ains will just take this Mountain Drake. No Mountain Soul on the docket, got to be a little disappointing if you're Ains. But now it's a Hex Tech Soul yet again, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting treated with the Hex Tech Souls. But now suddenly Clavio's caught out again. And it doesn't matter. Actually, it does matter. He'll make it a 1-for-1. And now in the mid lane, now Bubble's going to be caught out and shit is going to tumble forward and he's going to look to flash onto him to find him. And now he's trying to do anything but the supreme display of talent will bring them both down to their knees. 3-for-1 on the Rift. And suddenly, Ceuta have life.
They're stepping out for absolutely no reason. There is no Drakes that are spawning. And you have your jungler on mid lane or doing a play on top lane, on bot lane. So why are you stepping in the middle of the lane? It makes no sense.
Maybe getting a little too confident. I mentioned it earlier. Nerves are here as this, it could be your last chance at playoffs. And so teams definitely, they're going to be playing with nerves, and you got to wonder if there's a little bit of nerves coming out of the side of Ceuta as well, as they are so close to qualifying for playoffs. But now everyone's going to be meeting in the middle, and Kato may be the one that's just going to be burst down by Viega. And now Ron's actually going to go in. His teammates are not with him. He's going to be polymorphed, and he's going to be broken down, but Ace is going to go in. He's going to pop the ultimate, and now Cheryl will drop the bubble. And now Ace going to look to chase it down, and the Kiana will drop it. Clavios and Calvo are on the wrong side of history. And now Clavio's going to be hit with the Q, but he's going to be able to walk out. A miraculous way to turn that into a 2-for-2, and that should be the Rift Herald going over as well. Potato, what happened there in that team fight?
Well,
Hold on,
first
actually,
of all,
we may have to hold it real quick. Clavios is actually going to look for a re-engage onto Screamdo, and Ain's going to look to send the Q onto him, but now it's not going to be enough as he's going to use the ultimate to burst down Screamdo. And now Ace is left alone. He's going to be rooted up and he's going to be free fired into by the Mel. But suddenly, the Rift Herald will be denied. Potato, what happened there in that extended fight?
well, I don't know why they are trying to get the Rift Herald. There's no chance in hell that they're getting to sustain the damage of Mel. So I don't know why they're looking for that. They should just take their losses and go back and take the jungle camps, go for a reset. So I don't know.
Fair enough, and another kill over in the top side as Clavios will fall to Ron. It is a 1.7k gold lead is now. If you look over in the bottom side, Kato's going to be in trouble. He doesn't realize where this Kiana is, as now he realizes that he may have gone in too deep, and the supreme display of talent will keep him stunned up. But Viega may be going down. Viega's actually going to go down, and Kato's going to flash out of it. The Hen ult miss. Kato, oh my god! Dancing like a ballerina! Will find a solo kill, and you may find another kill on Inishi, who's not gonna have to run away on low HP. He's got no follow-up, but Kato will just look to take the wave as there's pings over in the middle. And Kato, you're actually gonna have to back. The bot lane's coming down. He might back. No, he's actually gonna look to stick around, and this may be catastrophic for Kato. He doesn't know what's happening. As now the Vayne's gonna come in and
you should try to click forward here.
Yeah, he should have gone forward. Instead, he steps back, but now Clavios is actually gonna pick up a kill onto Ron. But Ainz is still here, and he's gonna look to chase him down as the Solar Snare misses. And now Clavios is in a lot of danger. Ainz is actually gonna pop the ultimate, even though he maybe didn't need to. But now he's on to Clavios, and there's nothing Clavios can do. As Clavios is just gonna be burst to the ground. And now the Kiana may actually be caught out in the jungle. No, Bubble's gonna actually just back off. But my god, bodies are dropping everywhere, and the benefactor are JB and Finance with the 2,000 gold lead. Potato, if you are the side of Ceuta here, how do you slow the game down and take a breath so that you can figure out what your game plan is?
So So if I'm Ceuta, I would probably try to. I mean, the game is already kind of slowed down to the point where you can just wait and try to play around objectives. So there is not very much you need to do to slow it more down further.
That's fair, but now there's going to be a teleport spent in the top side. Both top laners have their teleports down, but now they're going to be positioning around the middle. Clavius doesn't actually get the spell shield off of the Mundo, but now this may go into 3v3. No, they're just going to back off. They're going to play it safe. This Drake is up. It's a Hex Tech Drake, and if you are the side of JB and Finance, you have the Drakes to give. You can give this away, but Ceuta are looking to bait them in. They're going to make them think they're sitting on the Drake when they're really not, but unbeknownst to them, I think Kato is aware that they're not on the Drake, and Kato may actually be about to catch out. No, Clavios is not going to walk forward, and this bottom tier 2 will fall, as now they may look for an engage here, and now Ains is going to hit the bounce on the Calvo, who's chunked out for a portion of his health, and Clavios, keep in mind, was also chunked out by Kato on the Heimerdinger. The danger pings are going to come out, so they're going to have to be careful here, but now everyone's going to be backing up towards the Drake, and they know they may be in a little bit of danger as the Golden Eclipse is going to come down, and it's going to do a lot on the Bubble. Bubble, the Angel Supreme is display of talent! The Fade kick into the Supreme display of talent is not enough, but they're looking to re-engage. Kato's going to look to chuck him out with all of his damage, but no, it's not going to be enough. And now Ains may look to walk forward, and now Ron's here. They have to back off. They may just have to give this Drake away, but
He's
Ron
just walking forward into death.
Why would you walk into the bushes? You walk into the darkness and you're surprised when you get kidnapped. Oh my God. He wasn't expecting it. He didn't think they would be sitting there in the darkness. Oh no. And this Drake will go over. Kato gonna look to do anything, but there's not enough he can do. And suddenly, this gold lead is even. And this is suddenly falling apart a bit for JB and Finance. Your lead is gone. And keep a look at those objective timers. Those objectives are only separated by 40 seconds. Potato, what happened in that fight?
Well, first of all, the problem was that they got a very not problem. The good thing was that Mel got a very huge CC chain onto the enemies and a triple Q and triple ultimate, which chunked out the ADC and support very much and the jungler. So it was very easy for Kiana to follow up and to get some kills.
Yeah, very easy to follow up and get the kills, and they have to be careful here. The Otacon is up, and they're going to be careful. They are positioning like they want this Otacon, but I think they're aware of what's happening. But now the teleport into the bot lane is going to be punished by Ains. He's actually going to get the bones knocked back at him, and now he's in a little bit of danger. The Golden Eclipse is going to come down, and now Ron is going to be taken down, and Zahan is going to go into it, and now Ron trying to use his ultimate to get out of there, but it's just falling apart. There's nothing he can do. The Supreme display of talent will find him against the wall. Ron is gonna go down. No, he won't. He's gonna be able to get out of there, but the Seraphine's gonna be sacrificed instead. It's a 3 for nothing. The Otacon is the reward. This game has fallen apart for the side of JB and Finance.
Why are they fighting, first of all, without the Mundo ultimate, and second of all, why are they fighting with in such a position where they don't need to force anything? They can just play it slow and stand their ground. Top lane is getting pushed in by Heimerdinger very easily, and someone needed to answer him, and Zahan doesn't have TP, so just let Heimerdinger push. Then if Zahan comes top lane, you just TP bot lane and take the Otacon, and they can't step up into the stuns of the Heimerdinger.
But the Heimerdinger only gonna stun himself up as the reflect from Mel chunks him out for half his health bar, and he went down to the Golden Eclipse. And if you're JB in Finance, you're starting to get anxious, as now the Mel is 10-5, and your lead you had is gone. They're down 2,000 gold, over 2,000 gold. And again, this is your last life. This is where you gotta put it all out there if you want to make playoffs. Yes, there is another game, but even if you win here, your fate is not decided. You're not locked into playoffs, and now for JBM Finance, they have to ground themselves here. Their team captain has to step up and say, guys, take a deep breath, calm down. We're not playing this as smart as we could be, but now Kato actually gonna flash,
What was
but
that
now it's
flash?
gonna be blocked away, and it will be a trade from the ace in the hole. But that flash was not good. What was the flash? Like you said, is the Seraphine ultimate is going to come down and just is going to completely whiff. And they may look to charge him down as Ains wants to be the tank in the front line. He does have the ultimate, but now Seraphine is going to empower her teammates to move faster, but the Bonesaw misses, and no one will be slow to Cheryl. Gonna look, and Cheryl's now in a bit of trouble. As now Ains is going to look to go in, but he's going to be polymorphed, and there's a teleport in behind them, so they have to get out of here as they are in a lot of danger, and the Zahen is going to be coming in. And now it's not enough. Bubble's dead. Scream is dead. You're watching all your teammates fall if you're Ains, and there's nothing you can do. Ron could not get there. This tier 2 turret will fall. It's not over yet, but it's looking a little hopeless.
Well,
Now,
this
hold on
might
a
not be
second.
hopeless yet.
May not be fully hopeless as you're gonna get a kill onto Kato.
Yeah,
As
this will mean that they get the dragon as well.
this should mean dragon, but you never know. As the reflect puts the Bonesaw into Ains, and that reflect, especially the Bonesaw hitting Ains, it does so much more damage to him, and it's very scary. But they're gonna position around this Drake. As now you see Kato camping out for Nishi as now there's gonna go in onto each other, and Nishi is shrunk down to half HP. But now, if you look over, Kato didn't take his
Why does he
opportunity to
stay?
escape. He wanted to go. He wanted to go for the kill. And now he may be punished for overstaying, but he knows his teammates are on the Drake, and now Nishi is gonna have to back. And now Kato actually is still going there, but they don't want Kato. They want the Drake. They don't want to allow Soul Point to go over. This is the one way they're gonna get back into this game, and now Viega is gonna be there in the Baron pit, and now Ace is looking away. Ace is looking away as Rod's gonna go in onto Viega, and Kato gonna be waiting on the other side to just bring the display of talent. It's gonna be fine under two as the Golden Eclipse comes out, and now Ace is gonna find a kill. And now in the top side, everyone's
They got
gonna
the
fall
dragon.
except for Nishi. They did secure the dragon. It is Soul Point, but Kato is going in. He has to be careful, but he uses the ultimate. It's gonna be on the Calvo, who's gonna be caught by Ains. And now Nishi, the only one to walk away from that mass slaughter. And if you are the side of JBM Finance, you have to fight for this next soul. Keep in mind, it's up in 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Keep an eye on that Drake counter, as that will determine their lives in game 2, most likely.
Well, the dragon is basically gonna be the do or die for the red team. So if they're gonna get the next dragon, this will probably secure them the game. If it plays out properly, but it's gonna be very difficult to sustain a fight when stuff like this keeps happening for no reason.
Yeah, Kato not learning that the reflect puts his full combo back into him. But something to also keep an eye on is this Baron. If you are the side of JBM Finance, you want to keep this Baron alive, because what you can do is, hold on, the Seraphine ultimate is going to come down. It's going to be massive as Cheryl and Calvo is going to be caught out, and now Ains is on to Cheryl, and Calvo going to be caught in the back line, but no, Bubble's actually going to go down to Viega, and suddenly they turn this around. Cheryl will get out of there and pick up 2 kills. There's nothing you can do right for JB Finance. There's just nothing you can do. The Baron will be their reward, as now 4 members are dead. What I was going to say was you could handshake the Baron for the soul. You can make Ceuta go in for the soul denial and take the Baron instead, but they will just take the Baron for free. That fight looks so good at the start.
Agree on which person to kill. It hit both the Lulu and the Vayne, and they ended up killing none of them. Even if the ADC would have clicked better, he would have been able to kill both of them, but he completely fumbled.
He did completely fumble, and it hurts to see. And they're going to go in on Nishi, and Nishi's going to be baited in as Ains is there, and Kato going to be chunked down to half HP, but Ains should be able to catch Nishi here. And now, hold on, the cavalry is coming in, and Nishi has just bought enough time, and Ains is going to go down, and now Kato's polymorph. You are just a little bug to me as I stomp over your grave. Ceuta take another 3 kills, and there's nothing that's gonna stop them now.
They can't.
Ron
They end the game
and
here.
Bubble are the
They end
only
the
ones
game here.
left alive, and Bubble's dead. They will march on the Nexus. Playoffs is right there. They have it in their sights. It's within arm's reach. Ron, the only member left alive to defend, is now the first inhibitor is going to go down, but he's going to pop the
Doesn't matter.
the person coming
It just
down.
ended.
But it literally doesn't matter. They're on to the Nexus, and that will be it. Ceuta, welcome to playoffs. JBF Finance, enjoy the couch. That is how they will end a 2-0. JB and Finance had the advantage for half the game, and they choked it away. Not what you want to see. You still have a game left in the season, but it's not going to be enough to get you to playoffs. Ceuta, congratulations, my friends. You guys are locked in for playoffs. JB and Finance, you'll be joining Carmadillos and Dynamo and asking what went wrong this season. We should have an interview coming up here shortly, but congratulations to Ceuta on a dominant game. Potato, what went wrong there for JB and Finance?
Well, they were the problem. The biggest problem for them is that they were getting to way too trigger happy with the lead they had, and they were just misstepping constantly and didn't play onto the lead that they had. They could have just played it calm and collected to play for all the dragons, because they already got the first 2 dragons very, very early on. So, and securing all 4 dragons would be very difficult for the other team to play around, because Hexa's soul is so broken with the champions they had. Each spell that the Heimerdinger is throwing out with W, each Q with Mundo, and each Q or E on Seraphine, each Q for Caitlyn, it slows the enemy so dramatically, which is like part of their kit. They need to play on mobility. It's very, very difficult to play a slow and steady fight for the blue team. But they were constantly getting caught out for no reason, because they were too trigger happy and trying to find picks where there were no picks to be found.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. And not understanding matchups, you saw it at the end there. Kato, actually throughout the game, Kato just not understanding his interaction with the Mel. Every time Clavios came in, he tried to mag dump his full combo onto Clavios, and Clavios just clicks a button and Kato is deleted. And he never seemed to learn that over that game. There were so many picks on the Kato that were just Kato going for himself. Like, it just wasn't good. And it felt like, as you mentioned in that one fight, they couldn't agree on who to go for. JB and Finance, just the team play was not there. And it just hurts to see. I gotta wonder how you bounce back in your last game, but again, they're out of playoffs. Your last game doesn't matter. But we are confirming we will have a winner's interview coming in here shortly. A very fun 2 series today. Unfortunately, no game 3s. But again, a look at the playoff picture. Ceuta confirming playoffs now. We are 99% sure that is absolutely confirmed for playoffs. And JB and Finance officially eliminated at 1-5. And Ceuta moving to 4-4. Now, the playoffs will be between Observant Force Jr. and Lobster Spicy. Here are the keys. Observant Force, you win your match and you're in. Lobster Spicy have to hope that not only will they win, but Observant Force will take a loss. And that will make it so I believe Lobster Spicy can get into playoffs. But now we will be bringing in Nishi from the side of Ceuta Guardians for an interview. Nishi, welcome in. Welcome to the caster desk. First off, congratulations on your win. Congratulations on confirming playoffs. How does it feel?
Well, to be honest, it feels pretty good. I think we did a pretty solid work all the season. I think we improved a lot from the beginning. I think at first we were a bit of a mess, to be honest. But kinda we tried to fix everything up just to bring what you just saw in these games. And so yeah, we're hungry to win everything from this point.
Yeah, it obviously a great series out of you. Obviously, that game two was a little rough, but you finished strong. Now, in game two, you guys, it looked like it was slipping a bit as they started taking a gold lead. What did you guys do or say to kind of calm the mental and start that comeback?
Well, if I'm honest, we know that when we pick Bane into Kaling, we can never, ever win early game. So we were maybe when the game was loading, we were talking about maybe just swapping, going Sahin bot against Kaling, or just Sahin Lulu and Bane top against Heimerdinge, because Sahin against Heimer is a bit tough. So we were expecting the goal lead from them. So we just tried to focus, calm down, speak a lot between us, just to try to make the rotations useless and just scale out. So we get the point where the Bane just melts the Mundo and he becomes just useless at all.
Fair enough. And looking at the first and second game, obviously you guys had it in the back of your mind. If you win, you go to playoffs. And especially in the second game, when you guys went up, how do you make sure to stay calm and not get too jumpy, so to speak?
Well, to be honest, I think that we have two guys in our team that are the mid laner and the ADC that just keep everything um, down when we maybe heat up too much, and we try to go and try to make things go too fast in games. And so I think we basically are key just to make these kind of games and to make them to work is just speak a lot. I think that most teams is what they should do. Just speak a lot. Try to calm everything down. Try to calm. If any laner gets solo killed, for example, I got solo killed in game one. They try to calm me down. That's the key. Just speak. Speak as a family, not just as teammates. And I would say that's the main point in Widget.
Communication definitely really important in League of Legends. And guys, it's so important. Lift up your teammates, calm their nerves. Now, I believe my co-caster Potato here does have a question for you, Nishi.
Yes, I have one question. I really want to know, when did you have the feeling that you are winning in a winning game state?
I am, to be honest, when we saw that the Seraphine ulted our bot lane and my Bane just cooked it, and just I don't know how she managed to survive and kill them all. We kind of got a boost up in our moral and in our winning spirit, and we just moved forward. At that point, we saw that Bane was just gonna melt Mundo 24/7. And at that point, we kind of called to push it a bit more and just go forward. Don't stop fighting. When I reached the third item, I knew I could just 2v1 or 3v1 because of the Thahin state right now. That champion is so strong. So I could just drag some attention top lane and maybe get every single objective that was going to spawn from the third Drake that I think they got. So yeah, uh, at that point we knew that the game was ours. There was no way, no chance that we lose that.
Fair enough. Also, we did just confirm with Omi that you guys aren't actually locked for playoffs. I misspoke, but what is kind of your mindset as obviously you guys still have a game left to play. Some other teams have 2 games left to play, but going into that last game, are you guys focused on playoffs or are you saying it's another game, it's the only focus? Like, what's that mindset going into the next one?
To be honest, I think we are winners. Like every game we play to stomp, not just to disrespect the enemy, just to prove ourselves that we're the best team here in Zenith League. So yeah, we're gonna face that next game just with the same hunger as if it was our last game, our last chance to stay in playoffs. We will smash, we will destroy. That's for sure. And well, we're kinda working at this moment um, just to see if we can do a great job in playoffs.
Hey, fair enough. Thank you so much for coming onto the desk, Nishi. Congratulations to you and your guys on the win. Any final shout outs, final notes you want to include?
Just if any team from the league or the playoffs is doing this, just fear Ceuta Guardians Academy. Just fear us. Thank you for your kind words.
Of course. Thank you so much for coming in. Also, I think looking at this, you guys may actually be confirmed for playoffs. We we are checking it out right now, but thank you again, Nishi, for coming in. Congratulations, and hopefully your next game goes well for you guys as well.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, that was Nishi from Ceuta Guardians. Also, we did just confirm Ceuta Guardians are officially locked for playoffs. Welcome to playoffs, Ceuta Guardians. And that'll be it for us here on the desk today. Make sure to keep a lookout as we have more games to be played this week. Thank you so much to our production team, Trial and Potato. Thank you so much to Zenith League for having me here. Potato, do you have any final shout outs?
No.
Fair enough. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here today at Zenith League. Congratulations to both of our winners here today in Ceuta Guardians and Cyclon Gaming. And that'll be it for us. Make sure to take care and have a great night, everyone.
Report.